Cool. Hey everyone, welcome back to another stream. This time we're going to be talking about 2026 horror movies. All the ones that have come out so far. I think it's a good middle of the year sort of time to talk about what we've gotten so far. And of course, I'm your host, Ian, movies that whatever, and who I have here is Alan. And why don't you introduce yourself, Alan?
Whatever. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, Alan, AJ Reviews on TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, obviously me and Ian have been together before on console and a couple of my streams before, so glad to be here. Ready to talk some horror. We kind of talked about it a little bit before the stream. It's been a mixed year, I'll say that. In the horror genre, it's been weird. We'll say that it's been weird.
It's been weird. Yeah. So yeah, we had some talking points going into this. So what everyone probably wants to hear is probably what we liked the most this year. And I'll let you take it since you're our guest. So what did you think were your top, I believe, was it 3 or 5, whichever top?
I did movies. 3. I think that was much easier because I think my 3 were pretty definitive, and then everything else was a little bit harder to rank for me.
Yeah.
I'll just start. So at 3, I don't know how, I don't know if we've talked about this. Technically, I consider it horror, but it is kind of more on the horror thriller side. I had Send Help. I think Sam Raimi's Send Help, that was not really a surprise, right? Because it's Sam Raimi. We all expect Sam Raimi to deliver the goods. But it was nice to see Sam Raimi do that style of movie again and kind of get back more to his horror roots. Because it's been a little while since we've seen that. I think it was, obviously you got a little bit of that Multiverse of Madness, but what was the one movie he did in the mid 20 teens? Drag Me to Hell, is that what it was?
Yeah, 2009. Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we got a straight horror film from him. The chemistry between Rachel McAdams, Dylan O'Brien, I thought was fantastic. I thought Rachel McAdams in that role was really, really great, where she's kind of the unassuming, very nerdy girl at the office who then kind of takes this transformation over the course of the film and kind of turns into the villain. A lot of people don't talk about that, but she is the villain by the end of the movie. But a great performance from her. You get the same Sam Raimi survival horror with them being stranded on the island. I had a really good time with that film. So yeah, I won't ask your thoughts because I don't know if that's on yours or not.
No, you're good.
I'll just move on from there. So my second, my number 2 is going to be 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple.
Bone Temple,
Really loved that. Really dug that film. I wasn't as big of a hater on the first 28 Years Later as many other people were.
No.
Yeah, it was a little bit messy. It had a lot that it tried to set up, I thought. But I really enjoyed that first film. And I think Nia DaCosta took what was established in that movie and gave us a much tighter and better story.
Yes.
With, I think, better characters. Jack O'Connell, that man is a horror villain. He's stealing the spotlight right now. I'll say that. He is he's killing it at this moment. Ralph Fiennes as Dr. Kessel. Is that his name? Kessel, I think.
Something like that. Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. His interaction with God, I can't even remember the brute's name. I'm blanking right here. The big guy.
Samson. Yeah.
Samson. That's right. That whole back and forth and his relationship with him, I thought, was a great, kind of a great, it was very unique for this franchise. I think that this movie took a different path than what we've gotten from these 28 years later, or 28 days later franchise before. The commentary, even with the whole Jimmy crew, how that's kind of a cult following thing and how he believes he's God and Jesus, that whole thing. I thought compared to what's going on in the world nowadays, that was a really good storyline. So great performances all around the board. I'm very upset that it basically didn't make a lot of money because we don't really know if we're getting the third one at this point, which, where it left off, I really want. So yeah. How about we do your 3 and 2 before I go into my number 1? Because I'm going to wonder if we have the same number 1. So.
Yeah, it's hard to pin down, but I'm glad you brought those 2 up. I mean, they're definitely up there for me. Though I think, so I'll go from 3 to 2, like you said. Okay. I do have Bone Temple at my number 3, so we do kind of correlate there.
Similar.
Yeah. I did love Bone Temple, definitely more than the first. But like you said, I didn't hate the first either. Yeah. The only thing about the first was, for me, was personally, I think that the marketing made it out as more of a I don't know, just had a stronger horror feel to it when the
Yes.
first movie kind of felt more like a little bit family drama with the horror elements in there. But it was still a good movie overall. But the new one, Bone Temple's what I wanted out of the first one. So it brought in everything. Like you said, I love the relationship between Dr. Kelson and then Samson. And then, of course, like the Jimmies. Oh, my God, the Jimmies. It's both funny because it leans on both being like very disturbing horror, and then it leads into a little bit of a campiness in a way, because we'll get into that. And I like that mix of the two in the movie. So that's why it kind of ends up there. The next one on my list is one that you said you unfortunately didn't get to see, but Undertone. And Undertone, it worked itself out for me because it kind of did something kind of more unique to me, at least, because, you know, horror elements of like sound really don't, I don't think they get they do get utilized, but not to like a degree that Undertone takes it, where, I mean, it's in a theater, so it still feels like I'm not in danger, but all the sounds that they utilize into it, because both with voices and both with like just general, like hearing something behind you and stuff, just really like adds to that factor. And of course, like who we focus on as our main character, she's really good. I'm blanking on the actress's name, but she played it pretty well. It is also very neat to have it very tight, where it only really takes place in one location, which is her house, because majority of it is just this podcast that they're doing. And I mean, I think overall it really lands by the end of it for me, but I would really recommend it.
Let me ask, just because I haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
What did you see it in any type of like large format or like premium format setting?
Yeah, I actually was really, it was my mission to go see it in Dolby, because I was like hoping to make it sound really good.
The audio. And,
and it was pretty good, but I think weirdly, it almost probably worked. And I don't want to tell people don't go see it in a theater. I mean, it's not in a theater anymore, but it probably works better at home, because I don't know about you, but like regardless of my horror fixation and stuff, you still have that, you know, that feeling that like when you're watching something like that, maybe let's say with headphones, oh my God,
like in the dark at night with no one around.
It will definitely be like that will give you a heavy feeling watching it like that. So it adds to that, I think, for sure.
And I think that was one that, like, once I didn't see it when it was in its theater run, I was kind of like hesitant to watch it, because I'm like, I wonder, like, I heard that from a lot of people, is that like the sound is what really, like, the things that work about it has to do with the sound. And I'm like, will it be the same if I watch it, even if I'm wearing headphones or something at home?
Yeah.
As if seeing it in a theater, in a Dolby theater, right? Like you did. And, you know, I tend to see most movies in Dolby if I can.
Yeah.
You know, would that make a difference? Like, and, you know, I'm curious. I'll still end up seeing it for sure. But that's crazy you had it at number 2, because I feel like I've heard a lot of negativity about it. And
I was surprised.
Not as well received.
Yeah, I was surprised about that too. I mean, I think maybe I could see where people are getting at with maybe some things that they're not really too fond of, but I mean, it could be characterizations possibly, but I think the character, I think her name was Nina Kiri, who plays the main character Evie. She played her pretty well. She's really the only character you followed the majority of the film. And of course they make her that she's obviously flawed in ways, you know, but like she does kind of present this or more skeptic kind of view on the horror that's happening, like all the supernatural stuff that occurs in the film. And I mean, obviously I tell everyone, like, watch it for yourself, you know, make have your own opinion on it, but I don't know, it really worked for me, really. So that's why I ended up having it on number 2. But I mean, what do we have at number 1, Alan?
I mean, I don't know if this is your number 1, but for me it is like far and away Obsession. I love Obsession. Like, this is my movie of the year so far, and if it's dethroned by the end of the year, this will have been one of the best years ever in film. Because I love this thing, and it's one of those movies. Obviously, like, we know the background with it and everything. $750,000 budget. Curry Barker, you know, YouTube guy turned short filmmaker turned feature filmmaker. And I just thought this thing was masterful. It's a movie I think back on and I'm like, I don't really have any complaints about it. I really don't. And like, I can understand, because I know, you know, we have mutuals, right, that have seen it and haven't been as high on it. And I get it, right? Like, this is not for everybody. This movie's not going to be for everybody. It's a very unsettling movie to me.
Oh, yeah.
You talked about sound. The way this movie uses sound, oh my God. It, multiple times throughout this film, you know, we're going to talk about it, about performances and stuff like that. The cast is great. Indy Neveretti is fucking fantastic, and I will be with a pitchfork at Oscars fucking HQ, wherever that is in the world, if she does not receive some type of nomination. I don't care if it's Best Supporting, I don't care if it's Best Actress. She deserves to be recognized for the level of performance that she had here. This was a film, too, for me. I heard about this. Like, I don't know, you know, who you watch on YouTube and everything. I'm a big Cody Leach guy. Cody Leach.
Cody Leach? Me too.
One of my favorites. Like, I take inspiration from him. Like, I look at the way he does things and I try to emulate some things. Obviously, do my own thing, you know, at it. But like, he's an inspiration of mine. He saw it back in September at Fantastic Fest, you know, and I've mentioned that too.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Really, really bad. He saw it there and like he just raved about it and has stopped not talking about it nonstop. And I think it's actually one of those movies that garnered all that pre-release hype that actually really delivered. And then like, I normally, when these movies are hyped like this and I go into it, I always end up disappointed because you got people who are looking for social media reactions and the clickbait headlines to maybe get on the trailer or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
I always go in disappointed. But with this film, I walked out and I was like, I love this movie.
Yeah.
For me, I would say I was a really big fan when it comes to like modern horror. Hereditary was my favorite horror movie of the last decade. I think this is the best movie since Hereditary. And truthfully, I don't want to say it because I don't want recency bias. I might actually prefer it to Hereditary, which like I never thought I would say, at least in this modern era of you know, movies. There's so much more I could go on. I mean, I was upset when you couldn't be on my like hour and a half long pod that we did talking about
I know.
It, but I could go on forever, but it's my movie of the year. It's the horror movie of the year. I think it's the film that every movie is trying to beat for the remainder of the year. So
no, I agree with you. All your points stand with me as well. I think both with the performance by Indy, of course, the cast all around, but Indy in specific and in particular, just that, just like playing on that, like sort of like switch to this insanity, like the you know, the insanity and just like the creepiness of her and so many different scenes that just play out so brilliantly, because like I saw the behind the scenes of like how they put on her makeup before that weird
like the Uncanny Valley one. Oh my God, I was like, dude.
And then the way they shoot some scenes looks so cool. And I found out later that one scene where she first goes back to see Bear at the house, with the little eyes that are basically what you focused on there, it was
they're like glowing.
It was apparently filmed during the day, so they darkened that whole thing,
right?
Which is really weird, but I thought that really worked actually. So it just made it look better. But Indy in particular, but even the whole concept, right? Like, I think it does provide this like kind of a unique concept, because you're like, I know, I get it, like bad wishes and like the consequences, but the way they play on that in this film really makes it a more unique experience for that, right? Because you're like, okay, there's this random wish willow, right? And you're like, okay, I could wish for whatever. Of course, Bear, obviously, but like, just to see the consequence of that, because I know it's like a monkey paw kind of thing, but I think it takes it to another degree with, you know, how far it goes. But I mean, everything, to the direction, the way it's shot, the performances, it really does stand out. And I get that. I'm glad that it's getting the hype around it, you know, like as it is, because with it being like more of an indie film, no pun intended.
$750,000. Like, I don't think people understand how little amount of money that is. Like, that is the definition of an indie film. Like,
exactly.
Like, definition.
And go ahead. No, you're good. Actually, it was funny because this is just building on that, because I know Curry Barker also wants to try to do like some anthology series.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would love to see how that goes too, because it was also funny too, because though we're focusing on sorry, why am I blanking on her name? The character's name, Nikki.
Oh, Nikki. Yeah.
Yeah, we're focusing on Nikki and Bear and how that's spiraling out of control and how bad it's getting with, the wish basically. I don't know. I feel like it's neat the way it's kind of presented because it's almost like she's almost possessed in a way. It's almost like a curse put on her with the wish willow once it like actually sort of breaks, because it just takes over her body, of course, because we know that there's another Nikki under there that just can't get out.
Right.
But it was kind of funny. I mean, I guess I'll just say now in case anyone doesn't want to hear any more spoilers kind of thing. But like, I did like the addition of like how wishes are brought upon other people, like his friend Ian. He was like, $1 billion.
Yeah.
Just starts flying down.
Raining, yeah.
And I'm like, it would be so funny to see like other things, like, because it does add the horror element. The whole thing is being horror for this film, but it would be curious to see how other things could be kind of made into that horror sort of like twist on it with a wish, right?
Yeah. And he's kind of talked about in interviews, Curry Barker has, how the one wish willow itself is not cursed. It's Bear's wish that's cursed. What he was asking for.
Yeah.
That's cursed. And that's like, for Curry Barker to be a first-time director for this movie, the fact that what he did here was so insane to me, because watching the direction he takes with this film, he feels like a 10-movie veteran in the way that he's directing this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he leaves a lot of these things open for interpretation, he doesn't spell everything out for you. He doesn't treat the audience like they're stupid. I think adds to it, and it's added to the conversation, that has taken place after this movie's release. I think some of it's exhausting. Like, I saw a video the other day about how someone said that Bear is worse than the Joker, and I'm like, okay, like, what are we doing here?
That's just rage bait, but yeah.
But that's got to be clickbait, because I'm like, what are we even talking about? But like that whole debate about, Bear being the villain, I think is such an intriguing conversation after, because it's something that, like, even the first time I watched it, I think I was just so fried at the experience that the movie gave me. Like, it wasn't even really something I was like inherently thinking about right away. But then once like I sat on the movie and kind of like looked back on it, I'm like, oh no, like there are so many subtle little things that happen throughout this film that someone like an inexperienced director like Curry Barker shouldn't have been able to pull off. And I was just like, I don't like his, I don't know. I'm on board with anything this dude is going to do. Like, next time I know he's doing some supernatural movie with like Aaron Paul, and I think Bryce Dallas Howard. I'm like, dude, I'm there day one. Thursday, early screenings, whatever day it is, I am there at the theater, because I think he has all the talent in the world. I think he is going to be one of the best young generation Gen Z director. He's the one leading the charge right now. And there was another one as well.
Like the first, like with the back rooms and stuff. Yeah.
Right. I will say I was a little bit less enthusiastic about that movie. I think that one had a lot more problems. But I don't know what's his name. Kane Parsons? I think that's his name.
Yes, Kane Parsons.
Yeah, he's only 20. And B, he was really a part of the Backrooms content from YouTube. Yes. And that's why they brought him in. So I still love what he did. I think the script was really the problem with that movie. But yeah. My wife and daughter commented, so I have to say,
hello.
Of
course.
Hi, guys.
I was wondering, right here?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
That's my wife and my daughter. They're watching right now. So
hello.
Hello. How you doing?
But no,
I mean, that obsession, like, it's going to be a movie I think we all look back on. It's not like, I think a movie and its status, like how classic it is or legendary it is, really kind of depends too on how we look at it down the road. Like, you have to have time. Recency bias is a real thing. It's coming out on digital next week. I'm buying it immediately and watching it again. I've been foaming at the mouth to see this movie again, and I saw it 3 times in theaters. So, and I can't wait to watch it even more.
Yeah, no, it really does have that effect on. I mean, it's had the effect on everyone now that's been watching it, both with the conversation afterwards. I think it's also, like you brought up, and I was going to bring up some other scenes too, just because the feeling of being like, I felt super, like that was a disturbing film to go through, and I loved it for that. That's the thing. It's like it's good to have a horror movie nowadays that actually makes me feel that way. Because I'm sorry, there's just horror now that's just like it doesn't make me feel necessarily much of any way nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I'm like coming out of that one, and I was like, damn, that's like
right,
like like what we were saying, just the way some scenes were shot with Indy as Nikki. I also think that Nikki had some like you said, like there was that one scene when she was in the dark in the bedroom just watching him at night, and the way she would move. Oh, I was like,
and like the reverse scene too. Like, oh man, I was scared. And this isn't stuff that like this isn't jump scares, right? This is like psychological messing with your head, camera angles. Like, dude, the way he uses camera angles in this movie. Listen, spoilers for anyone watching who hasn't seen Obsession. The biggest kill of the movie is obviously the car scene with Sarah. And the way he just keeps the camera looking at Sarah with the view of the window, you know it's coming the whole time.
Yeah.
You know it, but he keeps lingering and doesn't do anything and lets the scene play out. And then when it finally happens, it's that much more devastating when it does.
I love. Yeah, you're right. That the way it was shot looks so good. The way it plays out too. I mean, it really threw me for a loop to just have it happen that way with just the constant. Because it's also funny, like you said, you know it's happening, but even if it happens, I was still like
it's not right away though. Like
it's not right away.
It kind of reminds me of, and this is another franchise. It reminds me of that scene from Scream 5 with what's his name? Wes. That was his name, Wes. When he's in the kitchen and you constantly are having the moments where he goes to open the door.
Yeah.
Closes it. Nothing's there.
Yeah.
He kept doing that the entire time. The entire movie, he was doing that. It was like there were so many moments where I knew something was going to happen, but he didn't just immediately jump to it for a quick scare. He let it build. He let it marinate. He let it fester. And then so when it finally did happen, like I said, I was fried by the end of this movie. I went home and I'm like, dude, I need to go to sleep. I'm like, I am so exhausted after watching this film because of the way he executed it and the way he did it. And
and then like you said, like there's those disturbing scenes and with like I think they're intended to be, well, obviously they're the intention, but there's also the scene like where like it's the thing I like people see on TikTok now that's clipped a bunch is her no, don't do that, which Indy's performance for that is because I'm just thinking that regardless of that not necessarily being like straight up like it's not like a demon, it's not like some slasher character doing something, it's just the fact of that happening in a public space and it just being there, it just really made me feel like I was like, oh my God, unsettling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unsettling. Yeah.
Very unsettling.
Same with the party scene. Whenever she was delivering that weird poem or whatever the hell it was just like, it's just.
Well, it's like, and a part of it is kind of relatable. I mean, at least for me, like I've been, when I was younger, I was at parties and stuff like that where not, to that extreme, right? With like someone smashing their face in with a bottle, but like, a scene where somebody or like a moment where someone just acts out and like it gets super awkward and like the tension rises and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on here? He takes that, right? He takes like what would normally be a relatable situation and slowly escalates it, slowly builds the tension until there's an explosion. Something crazy happens, right? And you talked about it earlier, the switch that Indy has throughout this entire film. I don't think anyone else could have did this performance. I just don't. I don't think there was another actor that was capable of going from a normal person like Nikki, because especially at the beginning, I think that is what. Hey, listen, you're into whatever you're into. You know what I'm saying? You have your own experiences. That's all I'm saying. But even like the way she acts at the beginning of the film versus once she is, taken over. We don't even really know how the wish technically works. Like, is it another entity altogether? Is it just her being controlled? Like, I don't really know. And I think that's the
which is perfect.
Beauty of it, right? Yeah. That's like, I think that makes it creepier because you don't really know what she was experiencing. We get a little nugget of that when he calls the customer service line, right? And they put her on the phone and she's screaming. You're like, holy shit, what is going on? Is this Get Out where she's in a little world watching it? Like, you don't know. And there's no real indication of what happened.
I will add, I don't know what it is, but we've only had 2 films so far that have done this, but like this and the substance. I love the customer service guys. They're just like, yeah,
they're over this shit. Yeah,
they're like, yeah, you can't really do that.
Yeah.
I mean, people call all the time. I don't know, dude. You might just want to get over it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm like, which is
did you know
also
that was Curry Barker too?
Yeah. I found that out later, and I was like, that's so funny. The thing too about that phone call is that we heard it in the trailers, but to actually know what the context is, it's also like where the conversation of Bear comes in about being the villain, because he knows it's a wish, but still wants to be like, can we just kind of alter it a little bit? Not like give her a, don't take her away, like don't let her be free. I mean, that's crazy. You know what I mean? He's like, and I'm like, damn, that's when it was solidified there. Well, I mean, it was solidified once he finds out it's actually a real wish, that it just like, no, you know what I mean?
I think the debate on Bear being the villain, I think it's valid. I think by the end of the film, he's a villain. Yes. But I think, and again, this goes back to Curry Barker's direction and writing, because he did everything on this film. People don't understand. He wrote, he directed, he edited. He basically was the producer on the film. This was his film, like through and through. And the brilliance of it is there's so much more nuance than this is the good guy, this is the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
I think intention matters, right? Like in this conversation. Do I think Bear ever in a million years thought the wish was going to work? No.
I don't think anyone.
Bear, any reasonable person would not think that that's going to work, right? I don't even think he thought it worked for a while. I think the breaking point was the restaurant, the scene that you talked about where they're having the conversation. I think that was the moment where he truly thought something's not right here.
Yes.
Because they have that weird little montage of them as the couple and everything seems fine. He might just think, hey, she does actually like me. It was all, what it was. I think when he finds out in the restaurant, that's clearly like, this is the moment where he realizes something's wrong. But like you said, his selfishness and him only caring about what he wants oversedes and overtakes the desire to free her and get what she wants, right?
Exactly.
And I think it gets worse and worse. I think it culminates obviously at the end. People don't talk about this, but he goes to take all the pills.
Yeah,
he was about to throw it up.
Yeah,
he was about to give up until she made the wish, right? So look, I think he's just pathetic, and that's just what it is. And I think is he an outright villain? No.
No,
but he did horrible shit and he made horrible decisions all the way. I think that's what works about this movie is it's more of a tragedy than anything. It's like if you would have just and the debate too, there's also been a debate on whether or not Nikki actually liked him or not before the wish.
That's not a debate. That's not something I care to or like if people are talking about it, I'm like,
I actually think it's better for the movie if she did like him. Personally, that's just where I am at with it, because then it makes it more tragic. Because then it's like, well, if you would have just opened your mouth and talked to her, she might have reciprocated. You know what I mean? So that's what I think that makes it worse for me. So I like that angle. I would rather that she did actually like him, because then it's like, well, you're an idiot, and this proves that you're just selfish. You only cared about what you wanted.
Yeah, actually, I like that. That makes sense to me. Actually, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, if she did like him, it's even more pathetic.
It's even worse.
Yeah,
right.
It's even worse.
Right. Yeah.
So actually, I could see that. But that's the thing. That's what's cool. We can interpret it. We don't know. We don't know what she liked him or whatever. So that's what's really cool about this. But I think that's a good discussion. I think we got into some of the stuff we really liked about the newer movies we've been watching for 2026. Now, maybe we should get it. Oh, wait. Make it even more tragic. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who aren't like talking about that. I'm like that. Like, especially the people who think Bear is the villain, I'm like, that actually would prove your point more if she did like
she
him.
Liked him.
He's more of an idiot and he's more wrong in this situation for doing it.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I think that conversation in general with this movie has gotten a little out of control. People are putting their personal feelings into it, and But
I guess it does work for the film's favor to have people discussing something like that.
Absolutely.
And then of course, like we'll see what he continues to do, because like you said, I am all on board for anything that comes out with him. And I think the newest one that he has coming up is really cool, because it's like these fake ghost hunters that end up coming across like an actual like supernatural force,
Ghost,
which
yeah.
And I'm curious how he's gonna play that off, like with maybe, because I know that this didn't really try to be funny at all. Like it was very much like, I maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure that this was taken pretty seriously. I'm wondering if that one will add in his elements of like his YouTube stuff where he's gonna try to make it like serious but campy a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that, but I'm excited for that. So,
and I don't know if you know this or not, but he's actually the lead of the film. It's going to be him and Cooper Tomlinson leading. Yeah, which people like. I don't think anyone realized that, because like when they made the announcement about it, it was like, oh, Aaron Paul, Bryce Dallas Howard. I'm like, they're not actually leading this film. No. They're supporting characters.
Yeah,
so I'm very interested to see that. I thought Cooper Tomlinson as Ian. I thought he was great. In that movie. So I'm looking forward. I want to see what Curry does, right? Directing himself kind of. I think that's an interesting spin. And like you said, the concept. I'm like, as soon as I heard the pitch of what he said that movie was, I'm like, I'm there. I'm there day one. You say no more. I'm good.
And I'm curious too, because I know now with this, newfound like sort of like popularity with his film, and now he's going to probably have more opportunities. I'm curious what their budget will end up being for that too. I hope it's going to be pretty conservative,
it'll be I think it'll be conservative. I would say I would like to hear around 5 to 10 million. That would
that's fair.
That would be for me like okay, that's good, because I don't want him to get too crazy. And I think that's part of the shine of what worked about Obsession, is that like he had to make it work with basically nothing. So
which again is crazy in modern movie to be that much and work out so well, which is awesome.
And the box office too, like the fact it was earning more money week over week up until like week 6. What?
Yeah.
Insert the take my literally.
Take our money, Curry. Take our money.
Or like the slapping the credit card down on the aggressively. Yeah, that's me.
But awesome. I'm glad we both enjoyed this film, and that it's hopefully it lasts the whole year for us to be that. But of course, I'm happy to see anything that pops up this coming till the end of December.
Right.
But I'm going to stick with this for now.
Right.
And with our great conversation about how much we love this film, what have been some stinkers of 2026 that we could probably discuss about, what any horror movies that come out so
far? So I did a bottom 3, not a top 3 for this. So I'll kind of just go, in order of 3, 2, 1. We can do it like how we did before. We'll do 3 and 2, and then we'll both do our 1. Number 3, I have The Strangers Chapter 3. I think, I mean, what else can we say about this movie, this trilogy that hasn't already been said over and over? Very pointless trilogy, big waste of time. Nobody cared about who the strangers were. Nobody. I just don't care. I mean, I'm trying to muster up an explanation, but it's very hard. The fact it's not my number 1 is a little bit of an indication of some of the shit boxes that we've gotten this year so far. There's nothing about this that I hated all 3 of these films. I think, and I think there's an argument that it's weird. Like I think they all got worse with each one, but that was only because my enjoyment was terrible. I think they're all equally as bad. I don't think there's one that stands out over the other. They're all shit. It felt like to me there was just 3 movies extended. Like it was one movie, and then they just were like, "Hey, let's split it up so we can rob people of their money and waste their time."
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, I'm guaranteeing you, they just filled them back to back, because otherwise they would have not released the other 2 based on the first's
box office
reception and box office, because they just were like, I guess, I guess we'll put them out.
I think they said the main actress, Madeline Pesh, I think is her name.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to get. I'm not going to disrespect her. I actually think she was the only good thing about all 3 of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
She was obviously in shitbox, dirtbox, whatever you want to call it, trilogy of films, and it did her no favors. But I think if you put her in a good horror movie, I think she could do a good job. She did talk about. They did film these movies back to back. And then I think they said after the first one, they went back and did reshoots for the second one to make it more violent.
Okay.
Which doesn't make any sense to me, because these movies were not violent whatsoever. And the first original Strangers wasn't either, but it was even less so in these movies. So
yeah, I guess I could think that the only thing possibly which is also something that pissed me off, was like, yeah, the most violent scene of The Strangers Chapter 2 was probably that freaking Warhawk scene, I guess, or whatever.
Which,
the hell.
I couldn't believe a Strangers movie became fucking The Revenant all of a sudden, I was like, out of nowhere.
I was like, okay. And I know that they made it like, oh, he released the beast. And I'm like, who fucking cares, man? What the hell is this shit? Who cares? I'm like, God.
That's kind of just my whole vibe on all three films. And, you know, definitely by the third one. I think I was so beat down by those first two films that maybe the third one was the best one. I don't really know. I don't care to ever rewatch any of these.
No.
It was just so bad. And I was done by the time I got to 3. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to watch these. Throw this shit in the trash.
You're just like me, though. We're like, we watched the other two. Might as well watch this last one.
Right.
And I'm like, I wouldn't have watched it.
I love those two first films.
Me too.
Like the first one, I think has kind of diminished a little bit for me over time. But as a kid, I was 13 when that first one came out, and like that was scary shit back then when I, didn't have the tolerance I do now for horror.
Yeah.
And I think Prey at Night is actually super. I think that's the best one of the 5 films.
Me too.
I really I love Prey at Night. Because it kind of went more slasher, and I really enjoy slashers. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
So I really liked Prey at Night. And so I wanted this to be good. Like I didn't go into these movies not wanting it to be good. I just felt like it was pointless. Like we knew where they were heading from the beginning. Like I don't think they ever at any point made it a mystery on what this story was going to be and what they were telling. I don't think there really was much story, but it was very clearly obvious that she was going to kind of go down a dark path, and they kind of teased her becoming a stranger, but then they didn't commit to it.
They did the same thing with like in Halloween where they try to make his niece the new Michael, and that didn't end up happening. So
no, it was a shitbox, man, from beginning to end. That's why I said like this is such a weird year because I feel like there's such high highs from the movies this year. And such low lows, and like there's obviously I have 2 more to talk about. So I'll move on to my 2.
Yeah.
Return to Silent Hill.
Did you even attempt to go see it actually?
Yeah. Look, I'm a fan of the Silent Hill video games. I think Silent Hill 2 is one of the best video games of all time. I think they go hand in hand with Resident Evil. Like if you like one, you typically like the other.
Yeah, I like both.
What they did here, I don't know what they were doing. Like the guy they casted as James, total miscast, totally terrible. The budget was nothing. This movie was made for a Subway footlong and maybe an Applebee's dinner behind whatever studio they filmed this on. It looked terrible. The characters weren't great. As an adaptation, it sucked. It was not good. I don't really. Again, this is another one. I don't have too much to say about it. It was terrible. I think, and he just said, as a Silent Hill game fan, I think just in general, I think even if you haven't played Silent Hill, if you go and watch this film, you're not going to like it. It's just not well made.
Yeah.
And for being one of the best games ever, I expected if they were going to adapt this to do a better job.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a trend with these 2 franchises, but I'm hoping to see what's his name from Weapons put a good spin on this new
Zach Cregger,
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Cregger. So, but like Silent Hill needs something like that because I personally I played Silent Hill 1 and 2, and I watched those other films. The one from the what was it from 2006?
Yeah, like early mid 2000s. Yeah,
the 2006 one's all right. It's just an early like adaptation, and then Revelation. Right. I don't even remember anything about it, but not a great track record, unfortunately.
No. Oh, and you could say the same about Resident Evil too, right? Like,
no, yeah,
Alice, the Wes Anderson series. It's like, okay, all right, what are we doing here?
That is a funny series too, because people will always be like, okay, I give it a pass for the first, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's whatever, it's not great, but it's whatever. But then everyone's like,
I actually think Apocalypse was the best one. I like that one.
So I've been hearing.
It wasn't great, but it was a little bit of an adaptation of Nemesis. So I was like, all right, I'll take it
a little bit.
Yeah. After that,
I mean, he obviously put what's her name in because I mean, I understand that well, no, I don't understand, but like, yeah, making Alice like it's the thing about like Cole Young and Mortal Kombat kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, why are we? I mean, but like that's the thing.
We have amazing characters in the game. Why are we not just giving them the lead? I don't know.
Which would have made more sense in the early 2000s because I felt like that was the prime time to do it. I get what Zach Cregger's doing with the new one, where I'm like, it's Zach Cregger, so I'm like, I believe this will be a pretty well-made film, so it's not going to hurt me as much to not see like Leon Kennedy or anybody like that in the film as the main character. It just felt weird back in the day for Paul W.S. Anderson to do a movie where Alice is the main character. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Well, and if I remember correctly, it's been so long since I saw like the back half of that series, but I thought they brought in some of the characters. Like I know Wesker was in it by the end and stuff like that. So they ended up bringing in the game characters. So it's like, why didn't you just do that from the beginning? Even if you didn't want to do the exact story, like I don't know.
They did, and it's just the thing is that again, not a great adaptation still of those characters either.
Exactly. Yeah.
And again, it's like cool. That took so long to happen, but then again, too, it's like we're not even really focusing on them because Alice is still the main character.
The main character, I mean? Yeah.
So it's
because you can't really switch at that point when you've done 4 or 5 movies with her as the main character, and then decide to pivot and go to the game characters. I will say though, for the, I mean, I know we were talking Silent Hill and delved into Resident Evil. I will say though, for the Zach Cregger movie that's coming out, I don't. He's a trustworthy director, right?
Yeah.
So he's someone that I have loved his first 2 movies. I have a lot of faith in him. I think he can do something really well. He genuinely seems like he's a fan of the game. I know some people tried to misconstrue what he said about some of the earlier games and tried to say that he doesn't actually play them, but I don't believe that. And then 3, I think with some of the newer games, when particularly Biohazard and Village, those were basically just original stories set in the Resident Evil universe, and they were very good. So I think you can do that with this series now that it's even been done in the games. So I don't have as much of a problem with it. And I think if you did like Leon or like Jill or Jesus Christ, who's the main guy?
No, Chris. I know you're talking.
Chris. Yeah, Chris Redfield. Like, if you do him, I feel like there's a lot of expectation that'll come with that. And I feel like people are probably going to be disappointed regardless, even if it's a faithful adaptation. So I like the way that he's going. I think they can be really good, and it can do something unique. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, too. It's probably going to end up being the same thing. People are going to be disappointed, whoever they put in as the main, whoever they're going to make Leon or Chris Redfield or whoever, Jill. But like you said, the newer ones, up until the newest one, I guess, were originals with, what was his name? Ethan Winters, I believe.
Yeah, Ethan Winters. Yeah. Not a great character, I'll be honest with you. But he was like a stand-in, right? He was us. He was supposed to be us. Yeah.
So that didn't bother me at all. It's more for us, and like you said, that means that there is that in the series, so we don't have to be like, guys, it has to be this kind of thing.
The story,
yeah, because I think it's more so probably, Alan, is that now it's like with the newer game that just came out, 9, I think it's like people are like, oh no, Leon's back, so now I think everyone's more like, no, I want Leon now. I don't want anyone else. It has to be Leon.
I wonder if this movie that Zach Cregger is making, if it came off of like Biohazard, would we be as up in arms about it not being that?
Yeah, they're saying the same thing. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I agree, Harrison. I think that's a good route to go, because then it doesn't come with all the expectation. As long as it's loyal to what it's like to play a Resident Evil game, that's all I care about. That's all I want. And that's what Return to Silent Hill, to circle back, was not. It did not feel like I was playing the game. So
no, I none of them. None of these none of them. I haven't seen the new one, but I've heard a lot of good things. And I won't even attempt to, because I was actually like, I mean, even by the trailer, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm really gonna want to watch it, because I mean, I didn't like the first 2, and of course, like, it just wasn't any backing behind it either for me to be interested. Like, I didn't feel like there was enough. Like, I don't think the talent or anything was there for me either to want to like go watch it either.
I think. I can't remember, but I think the director of one of those first 2 movies was the director of this as well.
Oh,
I don't remember which one. I think the first two original movies had different directors each time.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been the original, but I know it was that, and I was like, oh.
Yes,
not
it
great.
was.
Yeah, not great.
Mr. Christoph Gans or whatever. French filmmaker. Yeah.
Never heard of him outside of the Silent Hill movies. So that kind of tells you all you need to know.
That is so funny, dude, because literally I don't think any other movie I'm seeing right here is like a notable one. And I'm not trying to shit on it. It's because like these aren't like big. I mean, they don't need to be big movies, but none of these are like
ones you've heard of.
Right. Yeah, like some are French, which is fine because they probably work there. But there is a Beauty and the Beast one for 2014 that is a French Beauty and the Beast, I think. So, don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
never knew that existed. So that kind of tells you all you need to know.
No offense, Christoph. I'm sure something will come up. Okay, so that's a good. We'll stop or not stop. Yes, cool. So we'll get to our number one for the worst.
You didn't do yours.
That's what I mean. I was like,
yeah.
Let me go to that. Let me get to this list, which is funny because I think I actually have my third is Strangers 3. And I think my opinions on these. I actually had like a huge bit of like TikTok videos I made of just talking The reason I am so mad about these films is because like I like the original, but like you said, I prefer the second. I like the slasher vibe they gave for that one. That's my favorite, Prey at Night. But the fact is, though, I still like both of those films. So when they said there was a trilogy, I'm like, I mean, I'll dig it if it's good enough to watch, But the fact is, Alan, they want to give you an origin and all this reveal to characters that the whole point is you're not supposed to know who they are or actually really care about who they are. Why would I care about these guys that are supposed to be like, oh, why are you doing this? Because you're here. Oh, but actually it's because like I have this whole backstory about how and I'm like, bro, what is, I hate when they do that stuff. And it's not like me being a hardcore Stranger fans in the sense that I'm like, no, this is not like this. It's because it's such a simple premise and you can't even get with that simple premise and just be like, it doesn't matter. Don't even get into who they are. Alan, it could be anybody. That's the whole. They even add in. I hate that they do this in these movies, and you know what I'm talking about. They put in the tidbits about like so many people disappear, or so many people, like that. And I'm like, okay, is this adding anything to the film?
This doesn't play into anything in this movie that you're doing.
It doesn't. And I'm like, you guys just love to just put nonsense into all three of these films. And like you said, the second one where we have a Warhawk scene of just like it's not even
the
like
Revenant.
That's a Revenant.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere.
It's a Revenant scene for the fact of why? Just because we didn't know what to do in that in between scene. We had to fill up gaps in time, I guess. So, oh my god! But
it genuinely feels like the three movies, like were the first act of a movie, a second act of the movie, third act of the movie, and then that was it. And then to kind of piggyback off of what you said about that title, because I didn't even think about that, how they put the facts on there.
Oh god,
that was a play because they did that in the first movie,
which is fine
at the time because this was 2008. I don't know if you were like in the know at that time or online when that movie was out, but like people thought that movie was based on a true story. Like people actually thought that happened, and that's why people were so anticipated on it. So they put that at the beginning of that movie to kind of build the suspense. So this trilogy just plucks that and does it just to copy the original. But everything that you're talking about has nothing to do with your movie.
No, not at all. And I know what you're talking about. I agree. The original at least had some merit to, I mean, in the sense of like when it came out too, I understand because like also I think the marketing was saying loosely
based on a true story, or loosely
or based
inspired.
On true event. That's the way to get around that. Which
right.
I guess, I guess people break into people's
houses and kills people. Exactly.
Yeah. Which is
but
fine.
at the time, before the internet was like, as huge and you could just easily disprove this stuff, that was good for the marketing. That made people interested in the movie. So you can't do that here. Like, and then your movie doesn't even play on that. It goes against everything that original movie was about.
Yeah, I agree with you. Same time. Actually, I think that was 2008. Next year was Paranormal Activity. I as well as I thought that was real.
Or was that one? I can't remember.
Oh, sorry, no. Year before, sorry, 2000.
Right, yeah, the year before, yeah,
year before. Either way, both of those played on that whole thing where you're like, oh, is it real? And I thought, Paranormal Activity was real, so that's kind of like that stem. They also didn't even have credits, which is funny. You remember?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's like the Blair, Harrison said, Blair Witch marketing from back in the day. Which is
wasn't as extreme. Like Blair Witch was the pinnacle of that, but yeah, it was. That was what they were doing. So it's another slap in the face that this new trilogy and what they did, because it's like you're not even executing the same thing that they did in that original movie. Like, stop, go away, please.
And I'll get into a little bit more. It's just the fact that with 3 in particular, this is capping off this weird trilogy that no one cares about and no one wanted, but it's capping off things too, where it's like adding in also things that just never got established in the previous 2, where it's like, oh, that cop, I mean, yeah, he's a weirdo and a creep, but guess what? He's the dad of the stranger guy. No way. Does that add anything? Not really. It doesn't add anything. And also to find out that too is like, well, he's even more of an asshole because he's just like, oh, son, just kill people.
Well, and that was kind of obvious. Like, I was like, dude, when they go in the first movie and they go into this town, I'm like, something's wrong with this fucking sheriff. For one, they got the guy, I don't know his name. He's really great at being a fucking weirdo and a psycho in a lot of movies. So they got him, and I'm like, okay, clearly he's involved in this. He knows what's happening here, or something's going on. So it was all just, it was just so poorly written from beginning to end. There was nothing redeeming about the entire trilogy.
I mean, the ending to the third one didn't feel earned at all. Not because of the character, what's her name, but it's just more like,
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's the point is that like, it's not earned because it's like, who cares? Right. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme.
No one cares by that point. Yeah.
And it's funny, Alan, this is from 2 though, I will say. In 2, there was a big reveal at the end, remember? Where I think it was Pinup Girl or whoever, Dollface, whichever one. They take off her mask and they're like, guys. And also, it's not like they're telling us, it's for us to think like, no way that it was her, that random ass woman from the first one that was working in the diner that I don't give a fuck about. Whoa, that's
to be honest, I didn't even know who, like, that she was in the movies at that point. I was like, oh, who? I don't know who this is.
No, guess what? I didn't know either, and then I had to look it up later, and then I found out. Like, wow, they really
and then because of the backstory, they're like, oh, this was his girlfriend. And he loved her, but then he immediately tries to go and I'm like, my brain can't handle the stupidity. There's just too much of it.
Yeah. So all this to say, I hate this movie.
Yeah. Anyway. I will say though, the reason it's number 3, because like I have probably the most to say about Strangers than the other ones. The reason it's number 3 is at least I got enjoyment out of roasting it. Like, this conversation is fun to me. I love doing this, right? Whereas the other 2, I feel like, are just like, oh, you were bad and boring, and I don't really have much to say because it was so bad.
Yeah. And you know what? That's why my number 2 is actually, I don't know if you saw it. It was, I don't know if it actually was in theaters. I think it was. And it's based on a video game that I had never heard of before. The Mortician, Mortuary Assistant, I think.
I don't think I heard of that one. No,
it's based on a video game apparently, but to give you the gist of it, this whole movie revolves around a mortician's assistant, where she basically is like having to like work under this guy that obviously is just like in a mortuary where they, obviously.
Oh yes, actually yes, I did hear about that one. I think I saw a trailer for it like one time when I was in the theater. Yeah.
And this has the issue where Strangers 3 has a lot of fun to talk about how bad it is. This is very much the opposite, where it's not great and it's super boring. Yeah. And I tell this to everyone, and you know this, at least for me, the worst thing a horror movie could be is boring. And this was god awful boring. It just had no substance to it. It had this like kind of overarching sort of like paranormal, like, I don't know what they were trying to do with it, but basically, I guess from the game, it was based on, it had this like supernatural presence. Weirdly, they had the mortician guy have this backstory where he's like, I had this book and I crap people here because I need to feed the whatever the hell. And I'm like, cool. I don't care. It's like I don't care, but also it's unfortunate because these characters aren't written for you to like really care though. That's the thing. It's like the writing is really the issue because I'm like, it's an interesting premise because I'm like, okay, like you're in a like I always have this struggle with the way to say it, but mortuary or whatever it's called, and it's in that one location, and I'm like, cool, that's neat. You know, I know it's probably been done before, but it's kind of a neat premise or a neat location to place it. And then to really not do anything at the most of the time, I'm like, okay, so you just didn't do anything with this. And then the fact is that this kind of setup they have for this whole like supernatural element to it, there's a cool creature design that I could say I liked, like for the demon, but like there's really just nothing else there, man. And it's weird, by the way. I really want you to watch it because there's a funny scene at the end where it's basically just the Avengers assemble, where it's not actually a bunch of people coming together, but it's basically like I'm like basically you're like it's like a Nick Fury guy talking, and he's like, I'm gonna recruit you, and we're gonna go after some guy. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
I'm assuming you didn't play the game, I imagine. By the way, okay.
Which the game looks fun. It's more of that like it's like a first person, and you're just kind of like doing stuff. But of course, that supernatural element's there, so you're just kind of having to look around, survive and stuff.
Yeah, because I wonder, like maybe I mean, I don't know if there's probably reviews out there of people who actually played the game or were fans of the game, what they thought of it and how it compares, you know, to the game.
Yeah. So, Harrison apparently said it's one of those YouTube Let's Play kind of games that popped off.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
So yeah, I did hear about that. I know that there were some big YouTubers playing it, which, like I said, it looks fun to play yourself, but as a movie, they didn't adapt it well. I'm sure it could have been good, but they just didn't adapt it, and it was boring. So yeah.
I think in general, video game adaptations are much better suited for television. I think Fallout, I think Last of Us prove that. I think that you're going to get the best style, and even there, I think there's flaws, but I think you're going to get the best possibility of adapting video games correctly in television because you just have more time, right? I mean, most games at minimum are at least 10 hours, so you need time, right? You can't can't try to condense into 2 hours and try to do that. I mean, maybe not that game in particular, but you know. Like even for Silent Hill, it was the same thing. It's like you didn't have enough time to do this correctly. So
actually, you're right. Silent Hill needs the television treatment,
right?
For sure.
Right.
Yeah,
that would be perfect. Yeah, or even like, and I know we just talked about how we're excited for Zach Cregger's Resident Evil. Like, if you're going to actually adopt the games, I think television would probably be better suited for that than a film. So. Yeah.
I could see the budget going from where The Last of Us season 1 was and giving that for Resident Evil, and because actually in the newer game,
you know, Netflix tried to do that. And that's,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Was not great.
I forgot it. You know what's funny? You brought that up, and I completely
you probably forgot. Yeah. I didn't remember about it either until Requiem came out, and they kept showing that one scene where the lady starts dancing, and I'm like, oh yeah. Totally forgot about that.
Because
it was Abomination.
Because I think that and Raccoon City came out pretty much around the same time.
Around the same, yeah.
So I kind of
Raccoon City has all of its faults, too. Yeah. I'd rather watch that than watch the Netflix series again. So
me, 100%. You're right, Harrison. But I guess, that's an unfortunate thing.
I didn't even make it past like a couple episodes, to be honest. I'm like, I can't.
There are some that just have a story that could be adapted well for television, and then there's those that are like, okay, there's not enough to tell here for a whole maybe. Like,
I think Halo could have been that if it was.
Oh no, Halo could have definitely been that.
The right team behind it and the wanting to tell the right story, but
but they don't. Actually, the guy even said, "I never played the games." Said, "I never played the games, guys." Don't you?
As soon as I heard that, I'm like, "Yep, this is dead on arrival. This is not going to be good."
He's kind of an odd. Interesting thing because he didn't play the games, but he did say he read a lot of the books weirdly, and I'm like, okay, so you did play the games, but you read the books. That's like just an odd thing for me because I'm like, I'm like, okay, but anyway, the mortuary assistant or whatever, just boring. Yeah. But what do we have at number 1, Alan? What do we have?
So number 1 for me, and I will say this wasn't immediately my worst horror movie of the film when I first saw it, but I think over time it became my worst horror film. And it's because of a lot of the things that you said. Horror is at its worst when it is not only bad, but also boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Psycho Killer is the definition of being so bad and so boring. I don't think there was any redeeming qualities for this movie. And I think it was really disappointing because I think there was a lot of potential here. You had a movie that at least tried to mostly be from the POV of the killer himself. Yeah. I thought you had some good cast here. I thought, Georgina Campbell, obviously, I thought she was great in Barbarian. So getting her in this film was great. But man, this movie was a bore fest. It was only like an hour and 40 minutes. And I genuinely thought it felt like 3 hours when I saw it. It didn't really offer or fulfill any of the really cool premise that it had. I thought the kills weren't really that great. The killer's voice was ridiculous. I thought where it ended, I was just like, I don't know what we're doing here. And
honestly, the ending really killed me. It actually kind of frustrated me because I was like, what?
It was so weak. It was like, how is this where you're ending the film and you're going out on this when you kind of set up this killer to have this presence? And I don't know. It was just another one where I'm like, I don't really have a lot to say about it. But my experience, like, I was so bored watching this. Like, it offered nothing interesting. I didn't think it had a great premise that just failed in execution, like colossal, like completely horribly. So I think for me, that's why it's last, because like there's not much I can say about it. It's bad. It's boring. It's not so bad. It's funny, or like you said, like interesting conversations, like with strangers. It's just bad. And it's the type of bad where it's like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to even have discussions about this movie. So that's my number one. It was
that's fair. Glad you brought it up because I don't think anyone was ever going to bring that up ever again.
Because I struggled to. I honestly, like I said, I had to go through the release of all the movies this year to remember it. I'm like, oh shit, I even reviewed this thing and I forgot about it. But I did it intentionally. So
I remembered it came out. I was interested in it because it was the writer from Seven. So that really was why I wanted to watch it. But and I realized it's probably because it was the duo really for Seven, not actually just the writer. I guess when he's not with what's his name?
David Fincher.
Yeah, David Fincher. It's kind of like it doesn't work by yourself, man. And everything stands for what you say, especially the ending, man. That was like, what are we doing? Why are you doing this to me? Why? It's like, what a dumb ending. Anyway.
And the acting too. Oh my God, the acting. Oh, horrendous. Like, and even from Georgina Campbell, which like, I know she can do well.
Oh yeah, she's a great actress, man.
She had nothing to do here. And that was across the board. Like, and then the whole sequence when he goes to the house with all like the dominatrixes all over, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
Waste of time. Trying to be funny, I think, and just not landing
but not at all. Yeah, like so bad.
That was a really weird. Yeah, you're right. It was weird. It was almost like a side quest. They were like, okay, let's go here, and then we'll do this for some reason, and then we'll come back to the actual plot again. And then I'm like, okay, so why anyway? But no, that
very just odd experience, like a dreadful experience. Like just not one. I'll never watch that movie again. You couldn't pay me to do it. I'm not doing it.
And I get it. Not worth the watch again.
Right.
I think mine were a little out of order. Well, no, not out of order, because I think 3 still stands. I actually think I had my switched, but I still want to talk about them. Strangers is still 3, just because of that conversation. I love talking about how bad they are. But I guess technically number 1 is Scream 7. And I have it because, like we talked about in length, and of course we've had a lot more time to like rewatch it and get our thoughts out. It's just because Alan, me and you, we both love Scream, right?
Love Scream,
and it's like, as a big fan of Scream, it's just the fact of the disappointment of it, really. Just because
I will say that it's my disappointment of the year. It's not my worst film of the year. It's the biggest disappointment to me.
Yeah, I think I think I probably would have switched more to the mortuary assistant because of the boringness, but I think Scream 7 kind of has the factor of it being just like a franchise we love and I was really excited for. And just to have it fall so flat on its face, it just really hit hard, you know what I mean? And that kind of makes it feel like I get why I would put it at 1, just because of the more like just the fact that I just was so disappointed in it, because they had so much potential, man. We talked about it already on your stream, but like, you know, they had they have the talent back, you know, Nev Campbell's back, they have the great cast, and then they had obviously we were talking about this. He didn't actually, did he direct any of the previous Screams, right? We were saying Kevin didn't.
No. He was the writer for the 1, 2, and 4.
Yes, he was the writer, and he was,
look, the script of those first 2 movies, and even 4, some of the greatest horror scripts ever. You know what I mean? So like, I was excited, right? I thought that there was talent there, but
honestly, we also discussed it's. I don't think it's definitely not entirely his fault at all. It's because he comes in to have to like kind of course correct whatever the hell they were putting together, because who the hell knows now, but like I'm sure we'll find out more and more as years go on. But like,
we've already started to find out too, like the story that they were going to do with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, and then once Melissa was out, but they were still thinking about keeping Jenna on, but then she fell out. Like, that movie was stitched together 7 times. I mean, that's people got to understand. Like, this wasn't even the third option that they were going with for the movie. This was like option 6. Like, it was there was the behind the scenes stuff that happened with 3, because that was the previous worst of the franchise, and it was because of a lot of that behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
dude, 7 blows that one out of the water when it comes to the production troubles. It's not even close.
No, that's why it's like, I kind of also think like Kevin Williamson, he tried to save it as much as he could. It just wasn't going to work. His direction too. I think he's a good writer. He's definitely a good screenplay writer. I don't know if he's that great at direction necessarily. You know what I mean? And that's what
we talked about that too, where it's like, writing, would love to have him here. But directing, And then when you have him directing with Guy Busick, who is the writer of 5 and 6, which, let's be honest, the writing of 5 and 6 wasn't great either. That's what you get.
Yeah, we discussed that too. I even know I have this cap. I don't actually love 6. I just like merch. But 6 had the issue, right? We were talking about that too, where it's like, amazing. I think a really strong 2/3 of the film, right? And then the last third is like, why did you kill it here, man? I was like, I thought that would have been one of the best of the series, honestly, if it just stuck the landing. If it just stuck the landing. But worst of all was 7, just because, I mean, and we talk about this, right? We were saying it's also because this franchise is ingrained with having this motivation for each Ghostface, and what the motivation is a strong indicator of whether we're going to think, oh, this was like one of the stronger, like, outcomes of the film, right? And this just landed so hard, and I mean, landed horribly, because just the fact that most people coming out of that film, Alan, if you remember, didn't even remember or understand what she was saying,
what the motivation was.
It was really weird. Especially for like a character that also made it too obvious that she just comes in out of nowhere and it's like, I'm here now, and we're like, okay, I think you're part of this. I don't know, but like,
and I'll say that's been an issue for 5, 6, and 7. I think,
to be fair, you're right.
I think since Wes has not been a part of this franchise, I think they have been awful at hiding who the killers are and making you legitimately not know who it is going into the finale. Like, to me, that was no stronger than in Scream 4. In Scream 4, before those masks come off and you know who the killers is, I had no fucking clue who the killer was. Like, genuinely, like, I was so shocked when it was Jill, and Charlie not as much, but Jill especially, and her motivation and everything. And then you get to 7, and it's one character. So there's 3 killers. So I don't want to shit completely on Scream 7, because I don't think it's a bad movie. I'm not going to say that. Like, I still think Scream in general has had good movies. I think there's enough enjoyment in this film to say it's okay, right?
Yeah.
The three killer angle was a good concept in theory.
Yeah.
The way it was executed was terrible.
Yeah.
You get the first killer, which I like the fact that they killed a killer halfway through the movie.
Oh, yeah.
We got no scenes with the guy. We don't know who the fuck the guy is. To the point, Gale, they rip off the mask, and Gale goes, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Yeah. And then, Chad makes the comment where he's like, "Oh, it's always someone you know. This is, like, that to me just strikes me as, oh, you're just trying to subvert expectations just to do it. It's not for the plot. It's not for the story. It's just, I want to do something different, and this is what we're doing."
Yeah.
Then you have Marco, who, is the killer from the psych ward, who tries to convince them that Stu is alive. And he has one scene, and he's nothing again. He's not nothing.
He worked at Google, remember?
He was a Google security specialist, even though he was at the psych ward supposedly for like 16 years, but somehow he was a Google AI specialist where he can have actual Matthew Lillard be recreated at an old age and everything like that. Whatever. Okay, so logic out the window. It made no sense. It was so stupid. And then you have Anna Camp, which was probably the biggest name of the new cat.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. McKenna Grace was probably the biggest, but second biggest, right? She's the biggest name outside of maybe McKenna Grace of the newer cast. Very obvious. Only 2 scenes that she has, and then she's the killer, and the motive just makes no sense.
Nope.
The part of this movie, I think, for me, that has really gotten bad with time, right?
Yes.
And it's only been a couple months, 4 months at this point.
Yeah.
Is the Stu angle. And the reason that angle is so betraying to me, I'm a Stu truther. I've always wanted Stu to be alive. Ever since the idea of what Scream 3 was originally supposed to be came out, I've always wanted to see that executed. Not only that, they played it for nostalgia. That was the only reason now, especially now that you know how he was used in this movie. It was only played to get people into the seats to watch this movie. And you can tell the way he talks about it, he's not happy with how it played out.
No.
Matthew Lillard is not happy about how that played out. Because he even talked about it. He was like, saying how they filmed this post-credit scene that showed he was alive, and some test screening audiences didn't like it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if I ever find out anyone was a part of that I know at that test screen audience, I'm beating your ass. Anyways,
I know. It's like, golly, dude.
Yeah. And he talks about how people were going to be disappointed when they revealed that he wasn't actually alive. And I agree. I think the movie, originally, when they came up with this idea for this movie, I think he was supposed to be alive, and he was supposed to be the killer at the end of the movie, because that's what's set up throughout the entire film. And then when you get the actual reveal, it makes no sense. Nobody understands the motivation. It's a character that you saw in 2 scenes. That feels like a hatch job to me, and that feels like rewrites, and that they changed it because they didn't want to pull the trigger, because this has always been a grounded franchise, and they didn't want to go there. But just go there. Just do it. If you're going to bring them back, do it. And I hate that they didn't. And that's the part of it. Not even just the killers being weak. The fact that they baited us with Stu and didn't pull the trigger. That is going to always rub me the wrong way when I go back and rewatch this.
Yeah. I mean, they said it here too. It was a big disappointment, It got us into horror, and I agree. It also got me into horror quite a bit.
The consistency of the franchise too is something that this series had, and now it's taken a major blow with Scream 7. Like, it's not, people aren't going to be as, this is going to be good, guaranteed, because it's a Scream movie anymore.
And that Stu angle really did help them a lot, because it was definitely that, because I think that's really what probably that, and Nev Campbell coming back probably helped get people's butts in the seats, because that made gangbusters. Like, that movie made so much money. But that's the thing, like you said, though it made a lot of money, it was out of the false pretense that you were walking into it thinking you're getting something and you didn't get it. And I know this is Scream, but it's different when they're promoting Stu so heavily in the marketing to have it be like, obviously I'm kind of expecting it to be kind of more of a factor or more played into like the movie, not in the AI way they try to do, but actually in the movie, and to have it be not that is just like, okay, well, that just feels like lying a little bit to me. And then
that got leaked. Like a lot of people don't realize this, but like the announcement of him coming back happened, and then like 3 days later, somebody came out and I don't remember exactly who it was. It was like one of the kind of higher traffic Scream pages that usually like releases information. They came out and said, guys, he's not back. This is AI. And that was like immediately after the announcement came.
Yeah.
And then I have it still on my phone. The script got leaked like a month before the movie came out. I was hoping it wasn't true. After the movie, I went back and read it. Every single point was true. And that just tells me that like there was something with this movie was reshot, redone, re-edited, retooled over and over and over again. It was going to be a mess no matter what. There was no way that this movie was going to be good.
Yeah.
But they also made bad decisions along the way too. So like I can't say, oh, the circumstances weren't great, but you turned around and didn't do it. Like Kevin Williamson, why do you not want to bring Stu back? Why are you so against this? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I mean, again, remember that's what 3 would have had that happen with the whole like Stu kind of like followers and stuff. But of course we found out why that they didn't doing that.
Didn't go down at that time.
But I mean, but that doesn't matter now. That's the whole point. It could have they could have just brought that whole plot completely back. That could have just been brought back completely now. But like, I don't know, man. It's like whatever.
The way they did it too here, where they kind of put in these little things about him, like how Sidney was questioning it the whole time.
Yes.
That was the best way to do it, because it was like, all right, he clearly was dead, but now it's like, oh shit, there's actually evidence to the contrary. So now let's say if in the future they do want to revert and they actually do want to bring him back, it's not going to hit the same way.
No.
Because you had the opportunity to do it and it to actually work, and you didn't do it.
Yeah. Wasted the opportunity, you know. And and that's the thing. We'll see what happens going forward. Because again, like it's nice to see this franchise go as long as it's been going, but it unfortunately feels like this could be like kind of a weird, like, I don't know, like well, it is a stain on it now, but it's just more like wondering if because of what this was and then how people walked out of it now. Because like you said, I don't know if people are going to actually really show up for the next one just because of like the way this happened.
It's going to go down in numbers. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it'll, because the lowest I think of the franchise is 4 currently. I don't think it'll get down that low, but I would not be shocked at all if it does lower than 5 and 6 did. Yeah. If they do an 8th film, I would not be surprised at all because of the reception that this movie got.
Yeah, and even if you're like more of a casual fan of the franchise, I'm sure you didn't come out of it being like, because maybe you didn't even care about the Stu part. Maybe you probably just were like wanting to go see the new Scream movie. That ending and kind of the whole way the movie plays out doesn't help either, because it's not like it's that great to be like, oh yeah, I'll definitely go see the next one. They're probably like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to see what the next one will be. And that's not the way we want it to be, but that's just how it happened, you know? So
I have a good friend of mine who he's like a casual movie watcher in general. He does love the Scream movies. And when he just saw 7, because he doesn't really go to the movies often, but he saw it on Paramount.
Yeah.
And he was like, I actually didn't mind the movie, but then the ending kind of just like fell apart. And I'm like, that's kind of the thing. It's like even the people who liked 7, no one likes that ending, and no one likes the reveal. So there's a problem there. Like that's not. And like I said with you, I felt like 5 and 6 had that issue too, but I felt like with each one it got worse. Like in hindsight, dude, Richie and Amber weren't that bad.
No, they weren't that bad at all, dude.
Like, but when I walked out of 5, I was like, oh, these are not good killers here, you know. But
I mean, I will always stand by like 6's reveal with it being Richie's family. It's just, oh my god, it could have. Honestly, I was wondering too if they would have just done it where. I think my sister actually brought this up to me, and I'm sure you probably brought it up, and as many other people have talked about it. Obviously, my part that I hated, of course, was that it was connected to Richie still, and that it was Richie's family. Their motive also being, "Oh, you killed him. We want to kill you too."
Scream
it's like
2, basically,
And I'm like, yeah, Scream 2 did it, and they did it better because I love, I love Billy's mom. I love Mrs. Loomis. But the thing about 6 is that if they just didn't add the family part and gave them that, because the characters could have stayed, they just needed to rework that motivation and just kind of make it feel like it made more sense, because
I think the performances too needed to be
a little refined. What's his name that played the cop? Oh man,
Dermot. And I met him at a convention last year, and like that dude was so excited to be a part of that franchise, and he was the nicest guy in the world. So I really don't want to shit on him. No. He's someone I actually met, and he's super nice guy, and like he loved it. He wanted to be back. He was like, I would love to come back. You know what I mean? So like I feel bad saying that, but it was like the way, and I don't even think it was him, because I've seen him in other stuff.
No, it's the script.
It was the way he was like directed and was told to act, and it just didn't work. It was too campy.
Direction, writing, it was that, because the dialogue was obviously the reason that car felt like. Because I agree. I think I would have I like him, because I have seen him in other stuff, but also I didn't even really kind of mind the kind of weird camp, like the campiness of his kind of performance. But if it was to a different motivation, I would have worked. It would have worked better. Because I think my sister brought up how it would have been probably more serious this way, but it would have been like how the 2 guys got killed in the beginning, rather than it just being that they killed them because why did they killed them? Because
he knew that they were going to try to kill Sam and Tara.
Yeah. So they was just getting rid of competition. Yeah. It should have been more that they got rid of them because their motivation could have been more that, okay, so I think it was keeping the family aspect, but they're kind of wanting to sort of stop this whole what do you call it? This cycle of violence by being like, well, we'll be family the killers, and we're gonna kill those ghost faces, but we're also going to kill y'all because you're kind of the reason why these things still
are happening,
occur.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, that would have probably been, and then that would have been more unique, and then and not a rehash of another movie that we got previously, right?
Which is something maybe that's probably what 7 probably should have done, or something like that too, because I actually would have liked that it was secretly I'm doing this because I'm trying to end the cycle. Honestly, she tried to do a cycle thing, but she was like,
she tried to create the cycle again. We're just pass it to her daughter. You know, it was
it was awesome when they went to Woodsboro just to burn the house down, and then they flew back to go.
Who though? Which one? That's what I
don't know. I don't know.
Supposedly, the one dude was out on the run after escaping the psych ward.
Yeah,
and then the other guy supposedly had a motive because he was working, and then Anna Camp would just disappeared somehow without her son noticing or anyone else noticing.
Oh yeah.
I don't even. And wasn't it Indiana or something like that they said this one took place in?
Yes. So
which is halfway across the country, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So they took a flight, probably in their Ghostface outfits, didn't bat an eye. TSA was like, "Oh, you're all good, bro."
Your Ghostface costume with knives? Okay.
Shit, bro, that's awesome. Where are you coming from? Oh, Woodsboro. Yeah, there's no way I should think anything less. You know?
And that's what I mean. That was all nostalgia bait because they wanted to have the clip in the trailer of him burning Stu's house down to make us think, "Oh my God, it's Stu." Oh, he's burning it all down. You know, my theory. If you go back and watch our pre-Scream 7 live stream, my theory about it being Stu was actually better than what we got in the movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm a fucking film fan who does YouTube videos occasionally. Jesus Christ. Oh man, yeah. I even said it in my review. It felt like the movie was they had the set pieces, like the action and the violence and those scenes mapped out, and then they wrote around that rather than writing a script and then making the set pieces around that.
Yeah. That's always a recipe for disaster when that happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I guess all this to say mine was more out of disappointment, I guess, rather than it genuinely being bad. But I'm sure in years to come, there'll be something way worse, obviously. And there already is something way worse this year. But
hopefully there's nothing worse in the Scream franchise. That's what I'm praying for.
I
will say I am happy that we haven't got any real news on Scream 8.
Yeah.
Because my fear was that they were going to learn the wrong lessons from Scream 7 and immediately greenlight an 8 and hire some fucking no-name director who probably wasn't going to care about the movie and everything like that. So I think the silence has actually been a little bit more
reassuring
of good news for me, because I'm like, okay, well, maybe they realize that they really screwed up here and they're trying to make it right when they come back.
Yeah, because
I hope
there's that. Yeah, because the way studios will think is that just because they made so much money, they're going to be like, oh, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
But I think there are times where the studios do obviously take into account, wow, the reaction and the criticism, the reception is just kind of horrendous on this one. And I don't know if we're going to even make money in the next one. So we might need to restructure
let's
this whole thing.
Take a step back, take our time, actually get a good script, and then move forward. And that's what I like. I'm like, I'm glad, because I thought, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the box office numbers, I was like, oh, they're gonna announce Scream 8 next week. They're gonna say, oh, production's starting. I think Kevin Williamson helped with that though too, because he basically came out right away and was like, I'm not coming back. We're not doing this again. So I think by him doing that actually made them think, okay, we gotta calm down a little bit here.
And, for sure. Yeah. So which is why I hope they learned a lesson.
Right.
So sorry. So
you're good.
Speaking of that, I guess this is in the realm of us talking about with slashers, they have a lot of good kills, but I'm going out of order from what probably we listed out. But this is one of the questions I had was like, what did you think was the best kill of any of the horror movies that have come out so far this year?
Oh, best like singular kill?
Actually, no. I put kills, so kills.
Okay,
plural.
Yeah, I just said I was just thinking like movie that had the best kills.
Yes.
For me, and I wanted to give this movie a shout out too, because I kind of went back and forth with this one on my number 3. Was Send Help. Ready or Not 2. I thought, again, the first one was the same way. I thought the kind of like super outlandish, like crazy style of kills with like the exploding is really cool. So yeah, I thought that movie, I enjoyed it a lot. I actually had a lot of fun with it. I don't think it's as good as the first. But I think when you go to these movies, you're going to get some crazy good kills and have a fun time. So that was for me. I thought the best kills came from that movie.
Oh yeah, I agree. That was my pick as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Ready or Not 2. It was either that or They Will Kill You, which I don't think you got the chance to see.
I haven't seen. Yeah.
Right. That one
so maybe that will be. Once I watch it, that might be my pick. So.
Both of them are pretty well done, but I do like Ready or Not's kills. They really do play into being a little over the top with a lot of them.
Right.
Just also a little campy with just the way they could have a good kill come across, like especially when she was fighting that one, I forget her name, but she was that one in the dress, the wedding dress that was mad at her because she took her man or whatever.
That I don't know how true this is, but the internet seems to say originally was the role for Melissa Barrera. And when I think about that, like once I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, I could have definitely saw her in that role, like for sure. Just the way like the cadence of the character, the way she acted, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely could have saw that.
Yeah,
that would have been funny though for her to come back with radio silence and then get murdered in the movie.
Yeah, honestly,
screams. So,
oh my god, no, that would have been funny. Yeah. But that one did have some pretty good kills. I like you said, you were saying that like how the first one did, and I like the explosion. I think the ending to that film is pretty fun. I love the way that to 2.
Oh, I love the ending too. Yeah, I thought that was so funny. Yeah, that was such a good sequence.
Because I'm trying to remember, I'm blanking on his name, but what's his name from Lord of the Rings?
Oh, Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood, man.
Yeah.
He played that weird the lawyer.
I don't know. He was like the constructor of the game, and like he knew all the rules. Like it was,
I just love the way, but by the way it ended, and then him just being like, "Okay, cool, I'm out. Yeah. I guess you guys are good. I'm not gonna even bother." And I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
It was almost like he wanted to go. He was like, "Oh, thank God." He's like, "I don't have to orchestrate all this anymore and deal with this bullshit."
I think for the majority of the runtime, it did seem like that to me because he was just kind of like, yeah, this is just how it's placed, the way the rules are. Yeah. I'm just kind of sanctioning it all to you. I get paid either way. So, I mean, if you want.
But just seeing all this crazy shit. But that ending sequence was so good. Like with the pit, the whole pit where like everyone's going. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was great.
She played. I loved Samara Weaving in the film.
She's so good in those movies.
She played it off so well. Yeah, and I even think her the actress that played her sister, which I know her, I know who she's from.
Oh yeah,
she's been on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'm blanking on her name too.
But yeah, she did a great. The one thing I will tell you, Alan, I think the only critique I have, because it's a movie to have fun with. But the only thing I do kind of have to critique,
Kathryn Newton. That's who it was.
Kathryn Newton.
Yeah.
The only critique I kind of have with this film though is the fact that it's like, I just didn't really buy, and I know this is not the film to really do that, but it could have been. It's just that I just don't really buy their way of like kind of feuding with each other throughout the whole film as sisters. You know what I mean?
That felt like a real sequel trope where like we just needed a reason for her to be here and for this storyline to play out. It didn't feel natural. Like that I liked their chemistry together, but the dynamic and the way the story was told, it didn't feel, it wasn't convincing to me.
No. And I also think with other things with like Sarah Michelle Gellar's like character with her brother, I just think that the way that played out too is kind of odd, because I just didn't feel like they really like, they kind of were trying to be like, oh, he's like her brother was going to be like, oh, he's insane, he's unstoppable and shit. And I'm like, it just didn't really play out that way. It didn't seem like it. You know what I mean? Like they really kind of talked more about it than they'd actually showed it.
Showing it. Yeah.
And when they did show it, he did kind of get destroyed. He got like annihilated immediately. So
I think that it kind of suffered a little bit from trying to be like the bigger sequel. Like it tried to go bigger. And I think you didn't necessarily need to do that. And that's why I say I still think I prefer the first one, even though I had fun with that one.
Yeah. No, it's a perfectly fun, movie. So it's like, those are just little nitpicks or whatever you want to call it, or nitpicks. Okay. I had, so like I said, I'll probably go out of order here, but
that's fine.
We had a question of what had the worst premise to you for the horror movie this year so far.
We already talked about it. Strangers 3.
Strangers 3.
Only because like it was a flawed and stupid trilogy to begin with. So I think by the time we got to 3, I'm like, yeah, you've lost any credit or goodwill with me by that point. So
that's fair. I actually it was either I had it between that, but I also remembered I watched this movie called Primate. Did you ever watch that?
Primate?
Yeah.
With the ape?
Yeah.
I actually like that movie.
The movie I think is fine, but then I just kind of think about it sometimes and I'm like, I guess, but it's not, it didn't outweigh
it. It is a stupid premise. It's very dumb.
Objectively, it's just like, okay,
it's
this ape, the ape gets rabies and he just goes ballistic.
Right.
That's the thing. The movie, I don't think is necessarily bad. I think the premise is pretty stupid. But the overall movie is a pretty fun time, honestly.
Yeah. I think the execution was actually good, even though the premise was stupid. But
I was like, okay, no, but actually, it's funny because I don't think anyone will talk about it in a long time. But like, I actually think that the way they went about that one, like, other than the premise, was like they had a lot of good fun kills. I think that it really felt tense in a lot of scenes. That was like actually genuine feeling, not like just made out to be like. Just artificially. I think it actually kind of worked with it because I mean having like a ape just going ballistic and just you not being able to get around that is just really scary. So and then by the end of it just had
they had a guy in a practical suit too. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw the behind the scenes on it and I'm like, what? I thought that was like, I knew it was practical, you could kind of tell, but I didn't know it was like actually a person in the suit walking around like an ape. Yeah, it was funny.
That had a funny marketing too, because I remember the very first time it was just the plain trailers, but then later they were like, oh, see the reactions to people that are watching it, they're going insane, it's the scariest movie ever made. And it's like what? Okay.
No, it definitely wasn't that. It was fun though. It was fun. Very fun.
For us, I guess it wasn't necessarily scary. It was more like, I don't know, just it was a fun.
It was just a good time.
Gory fun, what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, I did forget that it was the first movie this year. I think Primate, and
I think so. Yeah, I think it came out in like either the first or second week of January.
And I think Harrison's right. That was Andy Serkis. You're right. Yeah,
I don't think
that's who. No.
Okay.
That's who Alan was saying.
Yeah. That would have been funny
Caesar
if it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Anyway, but no, I think objectively it was Strangers 3 because
it was just for me. Like that was when you asked that question. That's like the very first thing that popped in my head. I was like, well, it had the worst premise after the first one, to be honest. And we're now on Chapter 3 that nobody asked for. So
no, because at least they were kind of keeping to like weirdly they were like, no, we're gonna reveal stuff, but they're like, we'll do it later. Like we'll do it in 2 and 3. But once they actually get to the revealing things, I'm like, man, you really should have just not said shit because this is god awful.
I think once they in 2, when they revealed who Tamara was, I was like, yeah, I'm out, bro. This is
you lost Tamara home?
Yeah.
She might.
I don't need to know who Tamara is. I didn't even think that was an actual person. So
I don't know. Yeah. They don't like to run with just also again, like I told you, the line, why are you doing this? Because you're here doesn't have any bearing on it because they're like giving us all this backstory about like, oh no, there was a girl named Tamara. That's why they're saying the name.
Well, I think so. They changed that line because in the original one, it was because you're home.
Oh yeah, they did say that.
Because you're home. In the new one, it's because you're here. So implying like you're here in the town because this is where we kill people. And we have this whole elaborate backstory that no one cares about.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they're like, guys, please, I beg you. I swear I'm interesting. You just need to get to know me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't give a fuck about
you. And then I got to know you and you were not fucking interesting and you wasted my time. Right.
You wasted my time. Man. Right. Honestly, if we could, that would be a fun like watch party just to watch all
Oh my movies. God, yeah. And we just roast the shit out of the movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, but okay, so no, you're good. Getting from
technical difficulties again.
We're going from best kills. We went to unique premise. We went from worst premise. How about the most unique premise for a horror movie this year?
I know this sounds crazy because it is based off of something that pre-existed.
Oh,
I'm gonna say Backrooms. Mm-hmm. I thought that had the most unique premise. I'm not someone who is familiar with like the YouTube series that Ken Parsons did, or even just like the Backrooms lore. But I did love the premise of the film and like how they built the set of the Backrooms, because I guess that was all built, and I thought that was really so I found that to be really interesting. I think I kind of alluded to it earlier. My issues a little bit were more with the execution and how it actually played out, but I liked the premise of what the Backrooms is, and kind of like that first like opening scene of Backrooms. Like, dude, I was locked in. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. I'm all for this. So yeah, I think Backrooms had the most unique premise so far of the year. I would have said Obsession, but then like I think Obsession's premise is not new or unique.
Yeah,
I think it's the execution. So that was kind of why I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't want all my answers here to be Obsession. So
yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because to be fair too, is like Obsession, we've had like that sort of
wish making and like making things happen, right? Like that's been there before.
Yeah, wish.
It was more that right. It was the execution, I think, that made Obsession unique, not necessarily like the original premise.
Yes, and I agree. I think Backrooms. Yeah, actually, no. I actually ended up putting Backrooms there because I agree. Okay. I was one though that went in watching the series, but I still don't think that takes away from it being still a unique premise for the movie.
Yeah.
And with the sets being practical, but also just it's also kind of cool if you didn't know anything about it, because going into it, it's like it is a fairly like interesting watch, because you're like, oh, what's this liminal space sort of like horror,
right.
You know, it's really cool. I also like that the so you, since you didn't watch the series, Kane takes it in a different direction here, because with it or previously not having that sort of like because I feel like a majority of this was focusing on like the mental health of these two characters and how one deals with it over the other, and how that kind of like that just shows
how they
deals with it, with Clark kind of just wanting to stay who he is. And then was it Mary wanting to like actually like help like make herself like be better and trying to like get out of what she was kind of growing up on with her mom and everything.
Right.
But no, it was really cool because he took it in the direction where even the creature you get to see of the manifestation of
Clark
and everything, that wasn't something originally from the series. He actually ended up doing that because there are creatures in the back rooms, but they're not like what it was, where it was a manifestation of a person that had been in there, and it's just like misremembering and creating a creature or whatever.
Right.
So that's why I think it still added to the uniqueness of the premise being like something where in the original it didn't make the idea of being that, oh yeah, like most things in here are like really weird versions from the real world. But in this one, it's like, yeah, it's because if people go in there, it's possible that these things are happening because people are just like in there. So it's taking those thoughts and everything they've gone through and just kind of make it into a weird version of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why it kind of still sticks to that.
So yeah. And two, it's like Backrooms, like it's not like they made like movies or TV shows. So even though it's taking from other material, it's like it's YouTube videos, right? Like that's not yeah. So like for me, I was like, okay, even though it's not a wholly original idea, it's still unique to film, right? Like we've never seen something like this, or at least like you even talked about like liminal spaces. Like we haven't seen stuff like that in a while, I feel like in a lot of movies. So I like I said, I was very intrigued by the premise. I thought the opening, I think the opening is the best part of the movie. I love that opening. And I think it falls apart a little bit as it goes, but it wasn't a bad experience. Like I still enjoyed it at the end of the day. I just thought it had more potential. So no,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, the opening's pretty good. It kind of sticks to what the original was, where it was found footage and that async employed it. You get to see at the beginning. I do remember you brought up how that bird kind of got you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was a good jump scare, I guess.
It was, yeah.
But
that was an effective jump scare.
Yeah,
like, I don't hate jump scares as long as they're done right, and that was a good example.
No, I also feel the same. I personally think they're fun. I like jump scares as long as they're not like annoying or overdone or just for the fact of being
playing like, loud music and thinking that's enough. Like no.
Which is why it's really cool when something actually works on me, because I'm like a little too desensitized to it now, where I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. Yeah, that's how the Conjuring movie is gonna have me sometimes, and Insidious.
Yeah,
more so Insidious than Conjuring, but yes, they not the Conjuring's main series. I think it's probably more the spinoffs. But anyway, yeah. So we got through that. Okay, so yeah, and I think we have two more here. We have What were the best scares you thought for 2026?
So the rest of these are obsession based.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, obsession. And not in the traditional sense. That's like jump scares or anything like that. Obsession does a really good job with their psychological horror and like building tension. Like I talked about earlier, like the way that he uses camera angles in the movie to see, like even the scene you talked about it when she first goes to Bear's house after the first night. I didn't notice this on a first watch. You see her she's looking in the window at Bear, and then she slowly walks over to the front door. Stuff like that made me completely uneasy the entire time. So she was watching him as he was on the phone with Ian. And then when he gets off the phone, or I don't think he did get off the phone, but like when she wants the attention to divert to her, she slowly walks over to the front door, knocks on the door. Stuff like that. It was just, it's great. That's why I can't wait to get on digital so that I can watch it at home and like pause and like look at moments and figure them out. Because I think there's just so much in that movie that you don't pick up on the first time or even the second time. It takes multiple rewatches.
Yeah, I only saw it twice, and you're bringing up that, and I was like, I didn't even catch that either of the two times. No, you're right. I also do have that too. I think it's because, like you said, it's more of the the way that they do it is just that it's not just trying to play on like what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, oh, you're like with jump scares or stuff, which is fine. Jump scares are fun. I think that they just do horror in this film much more effectively in the sense that like those are the scenes that really hit you and feel much more disturbing to you as a individual, because it's like even just the scenes at the party or the scenes at the dinner, it's just more like the uneasiness of that sort of thing, as well as like something like the car scene where even though you kind of saw it coming, just
the carnage just is insane. And they said supposedly this release is going to have an unrated version of the movie.
Oh,
okay. And that scene is extended. Yeah. And the actor who plays Sarah talked about how she filmed like ADR for certain moments in that scene. And I'm like, I won't say what it is if you don't want to know, but basically she did like ADR with like blood gurgling sounds and stuff. So like, and the version that they showed back in September at Fantastic Fest and TIFF supposedly had that. And a lot of people said, yeah, that scene was a lot more effed up than it was in the version that we got in the theater. So I'm very curious to get that home version and see that extended scene.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's interesting to hear about that. I also have seen the funny BTS for it too, because I saw the actress that played Sarah when she would come up to her. I mean, that's just a scary image as the actor seeing Indy come at you with the hair down. That's the thing too. The hair
was a wig.
Down.
That was a wig.
Yeah, no, it was a wig, but just the effectiveness of it being that you're like seeing the hair be down, so you're not even knowing for sure. Even though we know it, it's just like, ugh. It's just like
it's like it was like the entity, like the Wish Nikki was like trying to hide the face because she was just trying to be something entirely different. It was bone chilling. Like that's why I said like the way he uses tension and creates tension in the movie. That is the pinnacle right now of 2026 for me. And and I'd be like I said, I'd be very surprised if the movie ends up being better than that one by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think from what I'm looking at coming up, we'll see. But yeah, I think it's probably going to still stay up there.
For me personally, I'm thinking like maybe Dune could do it, but I don't know about horror. I think horror, I'm kind of like, I don't know.
No, I was thinking in the line of horror. I think this might be safe.
That might be it. Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah, I think it might be it. But that I had Obsession up there. Just an honorable mention was going to be Undertone because of the sound design, giving me more of that sort of feeling of uneasiness and disturbing feeling there for scare, rather than like, which Obsession still does kind of do a little bit of that, just a little bit. I think Undertone just kind of gives you that, like, I don't know. It just feels like really, I just feel super uneasy when I have to hear things that are effectively making me want to look around a lot more, but also just the actual dialogue, just, I don't know, it seeps into you and it kind of makes you, I don't know. It's just a lot of good stuff in that too. So if you get a chance, I'd love to hear your thoughts whenever you might be able to watch that.
It's on my list. I'm going to watch it pretty soon. I think it's available on streaming somewhere now. I thought I saw the other day. So
I did. I think I saw it.
That one and They Will Kill You are like at the top of my list because I'm like, I usually try to see every like major horror release if I can, and those are two that I looked at. I'm like, I feel like I should have saw those, but just timing just didn't work out. So
nah, it's fine. You got time. You could get it too. Okay. And I think we probably already talked about it, but actually we could probably get into honorables as well for this category. But what we think is a standout performance so far in horror this year.
I mean,
it's
Indy Neveretti. I mean, there's no there's no debate. It's her. I mean, this is to me, this is an Oscar-worthy performance. She deserves a nomination at the bare minimum. And depending on how this year plays out, I think she should be the front runner to win. But, horror. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say because Amy Madigan just won last year for Weapons. So I'm like, it's possible. She could win.
It's possible. I just hope the Academy they kind of recognize that more and more, just because
Right.
It needs to be seen, and it's deserved. I don't know if you agree, but I think Naomi Scott's performance for Smile 2 also had me feeling like a pretty like I just don't know. It was an outstanding performance from her for that movie as well.
That's one of the biggest snubs of all time to me.
Yeah.
And like it's not a common opinion, it seems like, that like she deserved it that year, but I'm like, she should have at least been nominated.
That's the thing.
Like I thought it was the same year The Substance came out. I thought she was better than Demi Moore.
Oh, 100%, man.
Like,
I mean, nothing against Demi Moore, but
right. She was great too in that movie, but I thought Naomi that was like, what are we doing here? Why is she not on this list? Like
that was just pure, like, she just really portrayed the slow progression into insanity so well. Yeah. It just worked so well.
And even like, you know, I've had people in my life that I've dealt with that, you know, abused substances, and the way she, like, that performance of like portraying someone who was a drug addict, absolutely on point. And then mixing it with, like what you said, slowly just going insane throughout that movie. That's one of the greatest performances in horror, in my opinion. I was like riding that train that year. Like she should have 100% been nominated.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't,
that's the part about it that like worries me about Indy, because the Academy gave it to Amy, but like, was that hey, you've had such a long career and you've never gotten your recognition? Like Jamie Lee Curtis won a couple years ago for Everything Everywhere All at Once, when like she didn't deserve it at all. So it's like, was that a horror recognition, or was that hey, we're throwing Amy Madigan a bone and we're going to turn around and snub Indy? So
that's what I was talking to this guy John about on my stream yesterday, and we were like, like we were talking about Naomi Scott, Indy, and the thing about how Oscars, like, they did it for Demi Moore and sorry, you just said her name,
Amy Madigan.
Amy Madigan. So then it's like, I don't know, they could just be that. I mean, I still liked Amy Madigan's. I loved her performance, but you know,
Oh yeah, I didn't think it was that great. Well, and that's why I said, like, I think Indy would have a better chance in supporting than she would in Best Actress. But even then, like when I look at, but then like the Demi Moore thing, I think Demi Moore was better than Mikey Madison that year, and Mikey Madison won. And Mikey Madison's like 24, so it's like, I don't know. That's the part of it where I'm like, are they going to give it to Indy? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to wait.
We'll have to wait. I also just think that. I know we shouldn't take it that, you know, but it's because the Oscars are still unfortunately really big for movies and stuff. And I say unfortunately because there could be better recognition in other ways for a lot of things, like for the movies and stuff. I would hope that eventually they could give us a horror category specifically. I think that would just really be cool, but I just don't think they will ever do it because they don't really care for that, unfortunately.
It's slowly changing, but it's a genre that will, I feel like, and I know this is kind of like morbid to say, but unless some of the older members of the Academy kind of die out, I don't think horror is ever really going to get recognized on that level at the Academy. I mean, when you look at the movies that have historically won for horror, especially recently, it's like a lot of the movies that aren't traditional horror movies. Like Get Out, right? Like Get Out was a big one. That was with Jordan Peele. That was a huge one. But like, that's not your typical horror movie. That one was so unique and kind of cross paths with other genres too.
I told
like a movie like Weapons, like that's not, it is horror, but it's not like horror, right? Like the Die Hard horror stuff. Like
I think I gave it this kind of, it's probably stupid to say it like this, but I kind of said artsy kind of like horror,
elevated horror.
Elevated horror. And I was like, but even for things like Obsession, I know it's not, I don't know.
Like,
that's the thing.
How did Toni Collette not get nominated for Hereditary?
Dude,
how did that happen?
That is one of the biggest, like,
that's one of the biggest snubs ever. Like, I don't get it. Even if you didn't like Hereditary, like her performance alone was incredible. Yeah. Like, come on.
And I agree with you too. That's like, Colette's one of the ones that gets brought up every Oscar season, is always brought up. I can't believe she never got even nominated.
Not even a nomination.
Not even nominated. But I mean, they do need to recognize it. Also, I know what you said was morbid, but also, who even knows who the Academy is, bro?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
No, I mean, it's hundreds of people. It's not just, it's not like a 10 group of old men who are all just saying, "Damn you, horror!" You know what I mean? Like, it's not that, but yeah, but it's the point. It's just I don't know, the mindset that the Academy has always had towards horror. And, for good reason. I'm not going to sit here and say that horror hasn't had its ups and downs. Historically, it's not been great. There's been very, long periods of downtime. Yeah. But, I think there's a lot in horror, especially recently. Like, I actually think we're in the best era of horror in probably ever, really. Yeah. Like, of consistency. Because the last 10 years have been really good. And, people really don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you. Yeah. I think the last 10 years have been really good. I think even the last 5 years have been really good.
Really good. Yeah.
So it's like,
I think it's been an upward trajectory. It's been getting better and better as we go on.
Yeah. Because of course, we could talk about long stretches of as much as I love the eras of the 70s and 80s and 90s, especially the 80s, we were just getting the
rough
schlocky
patches.
Slash. We love those slashers, but there was a long stretch of just nothing new, just a bunch of low budget
Friday the 13th part 75,
and as much as I love them, I'm not going to give you the pass of being but that's the best era of horror. It's there was really no there was no what do you call it, range and what kind of horror we were getting at the time. So now it's you could get anything now. I mean, literally this year we got slasher, we got we got the how would I say that? We got paranormal horror, we got we got slasher, supernatural horror, psychological horror. I would say a little bit of found footage, just a little bit with some, and then I guess we had anyway, but there was some, we didn't get a creature feature. I don't think we didn't get a creature feature. But anyway.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think so.
Anyway, that to the point that still stands is that it's been getting pretty good. It's been better and better. So I was gonna say
Indy Navarrete is fantastic. That's where I want to end it. That woman killed it in this movie. I mean, it was insane how good she was.
I hope she's getting roped in for a bunch of different opportunities for a bunch of different things, because I want to see her. As much as I love her in Obsession, and I'm sure that she'll probably continue to try to do some more horror, I would like to see her.
I was going to say, she made a comment that I loved, because most actors won't do this. She said that she wants to continue to do horror.
That's good.
Yeah. Which, you've seen it before, where people will have a big standout role in horror, and then they'll say, "Oh, well, I want to go do, I don't know, a romance, or go do a Christopher Nolan movie, or a prestige film." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, "No, I want to continue to do this." I love hearing that, because I'm like, that she recognizes, hey, this is what I'm great at. So I love that. I want to see more.
Yeah, she's gonna definitely be someone that people will be pursuing for a lot of projects, and I hope she kind of wants to continue to do indie too, because I'd love to see her in some more smaller things that will just make her stand out even more. You know what I mean? That she
definitely got to get that bag though. She's got.
No, I don't say not giving her the
no, yeah.
What do you call it? But
it won't be 750, right? Like how it was for Obsession, but it'll be lower. It'll be lower, and I would love to see that too. Yeah.
I'm sure Curry took them out to dinner or something to make up for it. I'm sure.
I hope he did more than that. Jesus.
No. That's what I mean. It's I'm sure you just gave them a lunch or two.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was good enough.
Pizza party,
Pizza party. I guess the only ones I wanted to bring up were sort of not what do you call it? Honorable mentions was Rachel McAdams in Send Help was a really good performance.
Great.
I think Ralph Fiennes, was it Fiennes or Fiennes and Bone
Fiennes.
Temple. I loved him. He was great. And also what's his name that played Jimmy was also really good. I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember his name. Yeah,
but yes,
O'Connor. I can't remember his first name though.
Oh, O'Connor. Yeah, so he does play into this.
I feel like I called him Josh O'Connor earlier, and that's the other guy from Knives Out.
That's the guy from Knives Out.
Yeah,
Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell. That's what it is. Yeah, I did call him Josh earlier. I definitely said that. Yeah.
No, he was a pretty good performance there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are probably one of the more
those are the standouts of
I
the year
think
so
for
far,
me.
yeah.
Because even though there was other films that were good, like I wouldn't say necessarily like Holcomb was good to me.
I like Holcomb.
But I like the movie, but I'm not gonna say like what sorry.
Adam Scott, yeah.
Adam Scott, he was fine because it wasn't like there was a lot to work on with that character to be like, I guess, to try to do more with it. It was just kind of like he has to just play that kind of, just
he's kind of an asshole.
Just an asshole, yeah.
Yeah, the whole time too. And I kind of like that because I was like, well, they didn't like. I thought maybe they were going to do like a redemption arc with him, but they didn't really do that. They just kind of kept him the same way. I was like, that was a little refreshing. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, the only thing you kind of think is maybe the way he started to write after was kind of like, oh yeah, I've learned a little bit, but he's not changing necessarily. Like he's gonna
fully who he is. Yeah,
he's still gonna be like, yeah, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want like I don't want to talk to you, kind of guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. That one actually did have a neat scare for me. That one actually had one where the witch coming up from the little conveyor thing.
Oh yeah.
That was more of the imagery of her like peeking her head through. Oh god, I was like, whoa, bro. That was crazy.
I think that movie was a little overhyped because I like the reactions coming out of the movie, like the premieres and stuff, were like, oh, this is the best horror movie of the year, and I was like, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away. I'll just say that.
It was nice to see some folk horror that I haven't seen in a while because I don't think we've gotten some in a bit.
No.
Some other so those were performances. Did you keep that one question I think I had was about genres, I think, or something?
Yes.
So yeah, since I know there's a lot more, even more subgenres of those genres. But I think it'd be neat to just talk about what our favorite favorites are from those. So what do you got?
Yeah, slashers.
Yeah.
Definitively my favorite. I'll actually kind of add in and say my least favorite of those as well.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of explain why too, because I was thinking about this with my history in horror. So slashers, like I was born in 95. I'm 31, right? Mm-hmm. So I grew up in the era, like the Scream era, right?
Yeah.
And because I loved Scream so much, that made me venture back into the 70s, the 80s, early 90s on slashers. So in general, slashers were always my thing. I always loved them. As a horror fan, though, like we talked about earlier, I can acknowledge that there was a long stretches of time in history where that's all we got. And they were not good for a lot of them and were not great. So that kind of leads into the era that I hated the most, which was the one that I got when I was kind of growing up in my teenage years and, was able to go to the movies on my own.
Yeah.
The found footage era. Oh. I can't stand the found footage era. The Paranormal Activity, that whole time. And Paranormal Activity is the one that sticks out because I think it was the most popular during that era.
Yeah.
But there was a dozen rip-offs of Paranormal Activity that were all garbage, in my opinion. And I didn't even really like Paranormal Activity all like that, but that whole weird craze that we got for what seemed like eternity, it was really only like, 5 to 10 years, but that whole like decade was the worst for me. So like when we got into this era from like 2015, 2016 on, I was ecstatic that we kind of went away from that. But yeah. I mean, favorite franchises: Scream, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky.
Yeah.
So yeah, slashers. That is just my go-to. It's what brought my love of horror films and created it. So
okay, yeah, no, pretty much the same here with slashers. Favorite horror genre of all time. I love all the franchises, regardless of their quality and how they could dip in quality. They could go back up and down, back it up. And down. I love it. Like you said, all the classics. Of course, Scream as one of the number one, and then we have Friday. We have Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even mention Halloween. Oh God, I forgot about that.
You're good. It's implied.
This is a controversial take. H2O is my favorite Halloween film, and it's because that one feels most like Scream. and it came out at the same time around Scream. So like for me growing up, like the original Scream and H2O were like the two films that I watched so much. I had both of them on VHS, and I watched those things religiously all the time.
I don't really think that's that big of a, or not. No, it is, but it's not.
Well, it's like as number one. Yeah, I've been told that
it's a pretty strong one to have.
Yeah.
I mean, in the sense that I think it's a really good movie in that franchise specifically. Yeah. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. It's usually, like, most people usually rank it probably top 5, I would say.
I think so. I have it in my top 5. So,
yeah.
But no, I wouldn't. I like that you have it at number 1 because honestly, it's, I mean, actually, no, you know, it's funny because I think my hot take for that would be that I have 2018 though as number 1 for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Just because, it still kind of plays off the original. It's just more of that modern
take
to it, which is not because I don't like 78. Or sorry, is 78 correct?
Yeah.
78. But it's just that, you know, I just fell back in love with the franchise again because
in 2018. Yeah,
it had been a long time. I think the last one was
the Rob Zombie
ones. So I was kind of like, you know, for a bit.
Which honestly, I have a very interesting relationship with those because, like, when those came out, I was either 12 or 13. It was around the same time as the Strangers.
It was, the first one was 2007. The second was 2009.
So I was 12, and so that was kind of like my reintroduction to Halloween. And at the time, I loved them, but like, oh man, like watching them now, I'm like, yeah. Of course I loved these movies as a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Because they cuss every 2 seconds and it's just this deplorable ass movie, you know, that deals with the worst things imaginable that you could think of. Yeah. But now as an adult, I'm like, yeah, those aren't my thing anymore.
Yeah. It's those two in particular are also interesting to talk about both in the fandom, but also like there's just some funny things. Not saying that I think one or the other, but there will people come out with, I think specifically Halloween 2 being like, that's actually kind of like a hidden gem or a hidden, like,
yeah, people are coming around on that. I've noticed that it's like, people are like, oh no, I actually love this movie. And I'm like, I don't like watching bad movies and unenjoyable movies. So I don't like that movie at all. So.
Yeah. 2 isn't necessarily the kind of like how we were talking about Strangers where, I could just love to hate this movie so much or anything. I don't really have that kind of love for that
at all.
Yeah, at all.
I kind of feel that way about 1, where I'm like, this is so like unrelentlessly brutal and like not what I expect out of a Halloween movie. And then it becomes, you know, a remake in the last act of the movie, which is the weirdest thing ever. But it was like, I can enjoy it to like rag on it and have fun with it. But 2, I'm like, that's just a miserable movie to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, 2 is not great. Is not a great film. I think 1 actually, like you said, like the cussing and stuff, also the horrendously disgusting dialogue that comes out of some people's mouths.
So
oh my god,
it's
like Rob Zombie. It just kind of
again, like I said, as a 12-year-old, you know, when I first saw it, and I was I was cussing like that myself privately, you know, because I couldn't do it publicly.
Yeah,
I thought it was the greatest thing ever, but then like, now I'm like, ooh. No, I don't like this. This is not for me.
Yeah, if they cut out that origin for him in that Rob Zombie, I kind of would have had a better liking to it because I don't necessarily hate it. I just think that it probably tries to do too much. I think.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I appreciate the effort of Zombie trying to do something different. You know.
Yeah.
I just think he like I said, I thought it was weird that he for two-thirds of the movie he tries to do something different with the origin and all the Loomis stuff and everything like that, and then you just revert to a 40-minute remake of the original. Well, okay, and it's not nearly as good. So like, okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah, that's why we're in also a weird era where we're like both like actually, you know, it's funny you bring up when you were growing up. I was in the same era of growing up with also the era of remaking the slashers, right? Because we had Halloween, we had Friday, we had Nightmare, we had Texas Chainsaw.
I guess I can bring up a new question. What was your favorite of the like slasher remakes of that era? Because that was kind of going on at the same time as the paranormal stuff. I feel like they were kind of, or at least like as it was ending, that was kind of when the paranormal stuff came in. What was your favorite of those ones, though? I have an easy one. I think it's not even.
I think mine's probably going to be the Friday the 13th one. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I respect that one. I respect it. For me, it's Texas Chainsaw 2003. That's my favorite of the franchise, to be honest.
Okay.
Because that's the first one I saw. I didn't see the original first. That was the one. Mm-hmm. I actually have like a core memory because that one I was like 8 when it came out. Mm-hmm. And this was still when like Blockbuster and Family Video were, a huge thing. My dad had rented it for me and my cousins, and like the scene of the girl blowing her, putting the gun in her mouth and shit, like that scene stuck with me for so long. Like that's like a core memory watching that movie. So, but yeah, no, that the Friday the 13th remake, I think that is severely underrated for that series. For sure.
I think so. It's interesting too because that was one where it's not trying to remake obviously just the first one. It's trying to do like the first 3 or the 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's very ambitious for them to do, but I actually think it kind of worked in their favor. And I actually think that's one of the better Jasons of the franchise too.
Well, and I, like the original series, in my opinion, I don't think Friday gets good until 4. Like I thought the first 3 were just I think the original is super overrated. I know like the diehards of that franchise would think that, but like I think that's blasphemy. But I think
I have the same opinion as well. I think Final Friday is probably one of my favorites of the originals, which is the 4th one, I believe.
Yeah.
Final Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, the final chapter.
Like, yeah, final chapter until they're like, wait a second, we could go.
Right. But, the worst to me was the Nightmare remake. That was.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%. Do not care for that one at all. Not at all. That one I could go without.
The innuendos of Freddy, like there was always the hint, that he was a diddler, but coming out outright and saying it, I'm like, ooh, I didn't feel right about that.
And the thing to me is that I don't even think that really didn't add anything.
It added nothing. Yeah.
So it's like, why even do it then, right? It would have been better if you just kept alluding to it, but never really did it. And even then it's like, I don't know.
It was just uncomfortable. It was one of those things. Like, it was like, oh, you didn't need to do that. Like,
you didn't need to do that.
And I hate it, because I like Jackie Earle Haley. I like him as an actor and stuff, but he already had a really big feat to do with following up Robert Englund, obviously. And then you give him that movie, and I'm like, oh no, please no. And it's been in limbo ever since. Like, I don't know what the deal is with the rights or what's going on.
Yeah, they're having a harder time than Friday because at least Friday's getting Crystal Lake TV series and maybe even a movie. I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, they're having an easier time there. But I don't know what's going on with Nightmare at all. At least with Halloween too. Did you hear the news about them actually already wanting to reboot it again?
Yes.
Like already. So I'm like, well,
I really wish, and I feel like it's right there. I really wish they would take the route that they did with Halloween 3 and just go anthology and start telling new stories. Like,
exactly, man.
It's time. Like by the time we got to Halloween Ends, it was already overdone again. And that's after bringing it back for another 3rd or 4th timeline. I don't even know how many there are at this point.
There's quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like someone showed me a chart the one time and I'm like, that is blasphemous. This is the timeline. It's like all over the place. There's different movies that go in multiple timelines. Like it's
like your favorite H2O, I think, is technically accounts for just the first and second one, then your movie, and then Resurrections. And that's a separate timeline.
I'll be honest though, when I rewatch, I just watch up until H2O and I'm like, all right, that's the end. She killed him. That was the end. Yeah.
That's a good, I like that. No, never watch Resurrections. That ruins H2O.
Very much so. Very much so.
No, I agree with you though. I think that Halloween, when the 3rd one come out, which man, dude, it sucks that the fandom quite likes it now. But when it originally came out, Season of the Witch, it was just like, no, we want Michael, and I'm like, God.
Which honestly, back then, I understood. That makes sense, right? Like because you hadn't had 11 movies by that point and everything, and Michael was so iconic. But it's like the blueprint's there, like we can do that now. Now that everyone's tired of Michael and Laurie, and we don't want to continue that. Do the anthology.
Yeah, and especially since now they're saying a rebooted like movie. I was hoping that they were still going to stick with that TV series, but they decided to scrap it. which is what I think would have worked better for the anthology idea because every episode would have been maybe different or
different.
Like a arc of that season could have been one, and then the other part of it could have been the other. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now you're right. Blueprints are there, man. Actually, since we were talking about it with the slasher remakes, they did have text. I will be honest with you, Alan. This will be not hot take, but it'll be a hot take for you to hear. It's just I didn't care for the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Man, and it's not any fault of it besides it just being that I'm more of a fan of 74, just because
Did you see that first?
Yeah,
right.
So that's kind of what molded my opinion for that.
Right.
But to be fair,
I didn't see 74 until I was like 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was very late in life for me. Yeah. So it's just one of those things, you know, and there's certain movies like that, you know. I don't have any like off the top of my head, but there are certain movies where people are like, you know, you're 30 years old. How have you not seen this and this?
Yeah.
You consider yourself like a cinephile. And I'm like, dude, there's thousands of movies. Like, I'm not going to be able to see all of them. So,
yeah,
and then I don't want to watch it later in life and be disappointed by it just because I never did when I was younger. Or, I don't know, you know.
No,
and that was one of them for me, you know, and I enjoyed it. I think it's good. It's just not, like I said, I was so molded by that remake that it's like, that's what I think of when I think of Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
So.
Which is very like you said, it sucks because I think Leatherface could be more so like he's top 4. He's like one of the 4, right, that people put as like slashers, but he just doesn't have the franchise to back it up at all, because the first one's good, and I will give you 2003s as well, because at least it's a pretty solid, like, you know.
Yeah, but then the prequel sucked. You know what I mean? And then the prequel wasn't good, and then you got the
2022
reboot, and the Netflix one. That one's terrible.
But like ever since the first one, this is the most inconsistent slasher franchise of all time. It's like 2, the original director's like, let me just make it full on campy, and I'm like, I didn't come to see this. Like if it was like, I don't know why, but we talked about this about briefly in the chat about Evil Dead. Evil Dead to me is like one of the most consistent ones.
Yeah,
and the thing is that what's cool about that is that it's consistent, but it has mixes of what horror it is, because it has the original just like straight horror, and 2's like campy horror, and then 3 is kind of just basically campy with elements of horror in it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that one gets crazy. Yeah,
which is so fun. You know,
it is. Yeah.
And then you get 2013, which I do like.
Rise, and what seems to be Burn, like that seems like it's kind of taking the same route of of kind of sticking there, you know. So.
And that's what I was getting at with Texas Chainsaws. Like you could do it when it's already been pre-established that way, but when you're just kind of like expecting it to be serious going forward, it's like weird to just be like, no, Bubba's just gonna be like, you know, with his chainsaw and stuff, and it's 2,
right,
and then going, you know, anyway, and then those movies continue to be so inconsistent. But that's Friday the 13th, 2009. It's that one's good. And then like we were saying, I think Halloween had it at 2007. Hill Have Eyes, I forgot about the Hills Have Eyes, 2006. I actually like that one more, I think, than the original. Am I trying to? Or no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of different. Thinking of the other.
No, I enjoyed that one more than the original.
It probably is
the remake. It was like 2000. That one was kind of brutal though too. Truthfully.
Yeah, to be fair, I need to rewatch it, but I did watch that one. I think around when it was out. I didn't actually know it was 2. I didn't think I cared for. It was like the remake sequel or whatever it was. I did like the Bloody Valentine remake from 2009. I'm not a big fan of the original anyway, so either one.
Right.
But so like slasher favorite, we talked about that remake stuff. To be honest, Alan, I don't really have a least favorite in my mind. Maybe there's just some that I just don't think I really it's not my go-to really for horror necessarily sometimes. I think like I'm not really I guess I am gonna say I'm not the biggest fan of like, I guess sometimes creature features, because I just don't think I ever have any that are in mind that I'm like, oh, I need to go watch that immediately kind of thing. There are a lot of good ones, but that's not necessarily like the kind of horror I go.
That's like that's never been mine either. Like,
because and it's
I'm
not
more
like
sci-fi-ish horror. Like that's more my leaning.
Yeah, like Alien, love Alien.
Right. Predator.
Predator. It's funny though, because you brought up the found footage. Unfortunately, that's like probably my second favorite of my horror genre, which is fine because I get yours makes sense though, because I get growing up.
It was just the era.
It was just oversaturated basically, and that can make it that can mold that can make your opinion that way, which is fine.
Right, soured on it. Yeah.
Well,
I think when it's effective and done right, it's good.
Yeah.
But growing up in an era where there was like 100 in like a 5-year span that were not good. It affected me negatively. Yeah.
That's totally understandable. But okay. I think that gets through to all our talking points and stuff. So I mean, I'm fine to just wrap it up. And so Alan, where can we find you? What are your platforms?
Yeah, you can I am AG Reviews on both TikTok and YouTube. I'm just my name, Alan George, on X right now. But yeah, so I'm behind a little bit on some of my reviews. I kind of talked about it with you earlier. I got a couple that I've made my notes. I'm ready to record. I just got to find the time to do it.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to get back into my gaming stream too. I'm trying to do a little bit of that. I was playing 007, but I ended up beating it on my own time, not on stream, because I liked it so much and I just couldn't stream it. So I'm going to start getting back into that. I want to do like a road to GTA 6, where maybe I replay some of the older games leading up to that, since that's, big topic right now. But
for sure.
Yeah, that's all I got going on. Obviously, it was great to be on, talk some horror with you. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So.
No, it was. I'm glad to have you on. It was great. I love great discussions all around, and I'm excited to see what you got coming up with all that. So, So, thanks for everyone that ended up, participating and watching the stream. I appreciate y'all, and have a good night.
All right.
So, bye.
Bye.